This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Very Hard to Submit. Go to vhtsny.com and check out their kimonos, compression gear, and apparel. This is a brand we are excited to be supported by. Their gear is high quality with a clean design. Go to vhtsny.com and see for yourself.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Grappler Union Podcast. Javier Palomo alongside Anthony Zito. Our guest today is Mark Vives. Mark is a second-degree black belt under Mauricio and Marcos De Souza and is the owner and head instructor of the Newbreed Training Center. Enjoy.
8 to 6 minutes. That's what happens in that 6 minutes.
You taught me using any technique that works. Never to limit myself to one style. Keep an open mind.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
In order to become more peaceful, in order for you to become better and strategize your life.
All right, we're live. Mark Vives.
What's up, guys? In the house.
Let's have a little fun.
Absolutely.
Man, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. We're going to be all over the place.
I know.
No, just take off our pants because our balls are
Whoa.
Like Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis, yeah.
Like Derek, that's going to be
Derek
a reference.
the legend, Lewis.
Why'd you take off your pants? Cause my balls are hot.
No, my balls was warm.
What the fuck?
My balls was hot. No.
Okay, so now they're not hot? I don't get that. He's
Wow.
a strange character.
Oh, it was great.
It was great.
Wonderful.
It was great. It was good. It was a good event for sure, except for an ending.
So for those who maybe didn't see the event, not down with MMA
it's been a while.
culture, it's been a while. So UFC 229, still a topic of discussion here,
And will be. At least that post-fight interview will be. For,
that was a classic.
Yeah.
I mean that fight itself, we're sitting there. And me and my boys are talking, and I'm like, Volkov's fighting the perfect fight. Like, this is exactly what you need to do in this situation. He's being real smart about what's he doing? Oh God, why is he trying new stuff in the last 45 seconds of the fight? What's going? Oh, and he's dead.
Yeah, 12 seconds left. 12 seconds left on that. It was so ridiculous. I'm like, oh my God, he's got to feel so bad about himself because that guy. I mean, Derek Lewis does not look like much of an athlete, and he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing in there. Like, technically,
he's got a really bad back too and stuff.
Does he?
So you can see it from his gait, from his walk. He's completely flat-footed.
Yeah,
and everything else. They were actually talking a little bit about it.
Yeah,
and how he was never ever really trained for a full camp or anything like that. So I guess this was the most training he's ever had for a camp, and he still looked like a hurt man out there.
Right.
So he's literally just throwing bombs off his back foot or whatever, and just throwing it all upper body. And everyone's just like, man, imagine if he could ever get his back fixed and stuff.
And could use like proper technique.
Yeah.
But that's not, I mean, how do you put that guy in the ring with Daniel Cormier? I mean, it would wipe him. It would be, or Stipe. Right?
And he's the number 2 contender.
I think, yeah.
That's crazy. It's so crazy.
Exactly. Speaks volumes about the UFC heavyweight.
Heavyweight's always been a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it always has been. But
and let's be honest. I mean, not anyone, but most heavyweights pack enough power to put out anyone they hit with a nice clean flush shot. So,
unlike Conor McGregor to Khabib.
Oh yeah.
Too soon?
I mean, not really.
Poor Conor, man.
Now, what do you think's next for Khabib? Assuming he doesn't get suspended and or deported.
Yeah. There's a point. So we are recording this before. This is recorded shortly after UFC 229. So like the full news hasn't hit yet. Maybe by the time this gets released, we'll know more.
I mean, I think he's either gonna retire, like he said he was gonna do, just fuck it, I'm done. But it's all contingent on if they're gonna release his purse to him or if he gets suspended. How much fines is he gonna pay? Because he thought he's retiring with whatever. $10 million, and now he might get fined or whatever, hundreds of thousands. That's going to change.
I think he's got one more big fight in him, to be honest with you.
Against who?
Honestly, no, I don't. I would go outside of that realm and just make it. Yeah.
GSP's the money fight, the legacy fight.
Do it in London.
Yeah, that's
something like that.
Oh yeah,
don't have to worry about coming back in here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, man. I'm really still kind of upset over the whole situation. Like I feel like I've lost the high ground because, like I love McGregor as an athlete. I hate his antics.
Right.
I've always said that. I will always say that. I'm impressed with his skills, his power. Less so with all the WWE crap that's gone on recently. And I could always say pretty unconditionally, well, Khabib, I just like. Period. No conditions required. He's just great. I love the way he fights. I love the way he finishes. He's an awesome champion. And that moment unfortunately spoiled the whole event.
I get it though. I'm actually
I get it.
Completely get it. 100%.
Yeah, I get it. I don't excuse it.
Exactly. Just because you understand why it went down, it's still inexcusable. Nonetheless, he brings up a really good point in his post-fight interviews, basically saying why doesn't everyone talk about what Conor did and everything?
Oh no, for sure,
absolutely.
For sure. And like if we're keeping score at home, which of course we are, Conor's done way more stuff and way worse stuff. Like I have functionally no problem with the idea of Khabib jumping on another fighter to start a fight. Like it's not what I want to see, but as things go,
well, he did choose to jump on Dylan Dennis, which some people will tell you is probably hoping that he landed on him. Right. I have no opinion, neither here nor there, but that was pretty funny that it was literally Dylan Dennis that tried to double
been a lot of commentary about how other guys wish they could have gotten to him first.
It's so good. It's so great. I love it. I love it. He's like sat there and he jumped and you just see Dylan's like blonde hair and you're like, oh.
Yeah. We all knew who he was aiming for immediately.
Everybody was so good. But
yeah, like if we tally it up, the bus incident with the dolly, obviously the most egregious. But like he threw what was it, like cans of Monster or whatever at the Diaz brothers at a press conference. He's gotten in fights with refs. He's stormed the cage at least twice. I'm pretty sure it's only twice, but maybe I'm losing track of something. Like Conor is certainly not innocent in any of this. I would never say he is. Two wrongs don't make a right, of course. Is the situation. I'd love to be able to just focus on the athletic performance and what happened in the ring. But
we
it's
won't.
so hard now.
We won't for a while, not until they sort this all out. And again, this is being recorded slightly after that and stuff. Like it's still recent news and stuff. But we'll figure it all out and stuff. But let's do a little soft reboot and say that this is the first time, Javi, that I've been on the Grappler Union podcast with you.
Yeah, so this is very likely to be your best episode ever.
Exactly. I was going to say you're it's debatable as to whether or not you're better looking than Paul and stuff like that, and you're clearly more sober than he is on the podcast.
I have the better beard. Can I have
Paul.
that?
How are you, Paul?
I mean, he's still licking his wounds, probably. Poor guy.
Oh, that's true too.
Sure.
No, he's not going to remember licking his wounds. He's probably still in a drunken stupor.
Yeah, it was tough. Actually, I went to his house. We watched the fight together, and he's like, "So, do you want me to make you an acai bowl?" I'm like, "Fucking right, I do."
No. For past listeners of the podcast, Paul has detailed, like at length, the procedure that he goes through to make an acai bowl.
And he says he makes it in a very, very quick amount of time.
Yeah, he's got it down to a science. I mean, I was in his kitchen and he's boom, freezer, grapes, blueberries, everything's bagged up really nice and neat. He's got everything on the counter all set up, granola. He's got his cacao nibs. He's got his coconut flakes. He's got the almond butter all ready to go. Boom, blender, Vitamix, boom, everything in there. Coconut milk. I mean, it was freaking beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. And
did you time it? You should have timed it.
It was like 7-8 minutes. It was done. It was incredible. And so he puts it all together. He's got a system for everything. Puts it all giant bowl. I'm like, this is okay. Let's try it out. And it was everything he said.
Did it taste like shit?
It was beautiful.
How sad would that be, right?
Exactly,
it was delicious. I'm like, dude, I mean, the amount of he gives you. I mean, he made me a giant bowl and all the condiments on it and all that stuff. I'm like, this bowl would probably, if you were to sell this at an event, it'd probably be like $50.
That much, huh?
It was crazy. I'm like, that's insane. But it was.
Paul, you're gonna have to hook me up with a bowl.
I know. Yeah.
It was delicious. I mean, I can't take it. It's probably probably the best. I've
So
ever
worth
had.
the wait. Is that what I'm hearing?
It was worth everything. Now it sucks. Is now I told Michael, well, fuck, dude, how am I gonna go back to eating acai like I've been eating?
You're going to do it just fine. I walked in on you
And,
eating acai.
and I'm thinking to myself as I was making my acai just a little while ago, I'm like, yeah, I guess I could still make it, but man, Paul's was so much better. It wasn't even close. Now I'm trying to think, can I get a blender here at the office? And can I make this work?
I've basically limited myself. I have to limit myself to one acai bowl per event.
Okay.
Not even like per day, per event.
Per event.
Well, I mean, with how much you compete, that's probably saving you thousands of
Yeah,
dollars.
it's, you don't understand. I had one tournament. I had a white belt with me, one of my teammates, and he actually kept count of how many acai bowls I had. And at the end of the day, as we're leaving the tournament, he says, like, Mark, do you realize you spent about $110 in acai today alone? I looked at him and I just basically looked at him like, no one asked you. Shut up. Just like, I'm never talking about this again. And from that point on, I literally just like, it was like, okay, one acai bowl per event. So if I go to World Masters, I get one. That's it.
So you went to World Masters?
Yes, went to World Masters, one bowl.
That was a long line, I bet.
Actually, I'm the type of person, I hate waiting in lines.
Yeah.
So
You wait
I
till
always
it dies down?
Yeah, I
just
wait till
wait.
it dies down, or I'm like the jerk off that goes. I'm the first guy. I'm the guy who opens up the acai bowl. So I'm just sitting there and I'm waiting. I'm like, I'm ready to go when you guys are. Credit card ready to go. Let's go right now.
Yeah.
And they don't want to open that, and they're like, we're not ready. I'm like, it's just one bowl, man. Take it right now. Let's get this done and over with and stuff. But yeah, competing schedule, so far this year. 23 tournaments or super fights. Sorry. Yeah, 23 tournaments or super fights as of, let's see here. As of yesterday.
Which would be October.
October 6th, October 7th, whatever that is. Grappling games, whatever it is. And I have no idea what the dates are anymore and stuff like that.
They all blur together.
Exactly.
After a while.
Grappling games, 46 matches.
Now, you did something fairly crazy, though, recently.
Yes.
That
Competed at Fight to Win and the Dallas Open all in the same weekend, all within 24 hours rather and stuff.
What was first? Was it the Fight
Fight to Win.
Fight to Win.
It was a Friday Fight to Win in Dallas at
I
Gillies.
saw that match.
Yeah, that was tough.
Dude, that would look tough.
Marcos Antelante, he's no joke. He is no
What
joke.
was that weight at? Because he looked pretty big.
So I know he had to cut for it because the week before he fought in the Grand Slam and won Masters 1 division at 94 kilos.
Okay.
So he looked good. And I'm sitting there watching the Grand Slam. I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. Yeah. So, but I know he doesn't butt up to the limit of 94 kilos.
Okay.
So that fight was at 82.3, so basically 82.3 kilos roughly. So what, 180? Mm-hmm. And I remember we go into weigh-ins and stuff, and it looks like he's cutting and stuff. So he weighs in just a shade over 180, because you get the pound allowance. Mm-hmm. I step on the scale and stuff, and I'm like, okay, no joke, shoes on, everything like that. They're like 173.6. I'm like, oh God, Jesus, this is gonna be fun and stuff. So I've been basically holding that weight all year long and stuff because I've been competing so much. Mm-hmm. So we get in there and stuff, and he pulls guard. And the whole fight was a grip fight, and I lost it right off the bat. And boom, he just sat there and got his grips. I'm like, shit, this is gonna suck. And it was literally me trying to sit there and eliminate his grips and hooks and get something going. I couldn't. I just could not. Just could not with the style of. With his game, with his open guard game, his De La Riva game, it was just too much to overcome. And, especially in Fight to Win, you got to make things happen. It's not necessarily about positioning. Right. Definitely helps. But it's not just about positioning. It's about trying to sit there and basically put yourself in a position, so to speak, to be able to start initiating submission attacks. And for me, he was just neutralizing everything. I mean, that's a style of game. He literally just takes away from you. And he makes you do things that you have to where you have to risk it. Yeah. And he knows what those risks are. Mm-hmm. And he sits there and just basically gets all over you. And the next thing you know, you have nothing. Just basically wins the percentage game, and that's it. That's kind of what happened. So I had 2 opportunities for, honestly, just 2 calf slicers. And that was it. That's all I had. And he knew that. He took it away from me. And it was just like, okay, well, this sucks. So, tough fight is what it is. And then you had to bounce back. I had to bounce back immediately and fight at the Dallas Open.
Immediately. The next day, right?
And ref. That was fun too. I had to ref.
Holy shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I had the ref too. It's I didn't have to ref. They asked me to ref,
yes.
and I said yes, I'll do it and stuff. But that was fun. But you know, it's funny. You know, we were talking a little bit before, Javi and I were talking a little bit before we went on air. It poses a certain problem of trying to sit there and prepare for a fight to win fight versus an IBJJF match and stuff, a tournament fight, a point fight. And, you know, they're two different things, and they're two different types of mentalities. And it really sucks. It really does actually suck trying to prepare for both. Trying to fight two different types of tournaments in a weekend is probably something I will never, ever do again, because it does take a mental toll on you in terms of preparation. Right. The matches itself, not really. I mean, the matches are just going to go, and I mean, done 46 matches this year. It's like sparring. It's like really like hardcore training and stuff like that, and just like a mental switch I just have to flip on. I mean, you've seen me, Zito, with the red headphones. I'm just like, just flip it on. But, you know, trying to prepare mentally and trying to establish a strategy for both is a little bit kind of hectic and stuff. So I was a little bit more in my element. Clearly, I fight more point tournament matches more than anything else. But so I was a little bit more in my element during the Dallas Open, was able to sit there and kind of like predict and kind of establish exactly where everything was going to go, have a game plan for, the first person I fought. So again, it's Masters 3 and stuff. So they're not like your 5-round tournaments or 5-round brackets or anything like that. So I had 2 to win the whole thing. First person I fought was Laurent Zamarian from Soul Fighters down in Texas and stuff. I fought him like 3 times this year. And we fought, I think, once or twice last year as well, too. Great competitor. Honestly, probably one of the more lesser known guys in the Master 3 black belt division, to be honest with you. If he competed more, I think everyone would know him a lot more. But having the opportunity to compete against him so much this year, I kind of like, you know, for me, it's like, it's all strategy based on our like, you know, our matchup and everything like that. So was able to sit there and impose a strategy there, and then fought Jonathan Key, who now trains with JT Torres, big guard guy, big worm guard guy. So and everyone knows me as kind of an old school smash passer and stuff, and you know, decent half guard and everything like that. So I could not have pulled faster on him. Literally ran. It was just like, they're like, all right, fight. I'm like, lapel, sit on butt, fast as possible. I'm like, I'm not playing any of this garbage.
Right.
And then was able to sit there and secure a toe hold off of him during a sweep, to be honest with you. Right. Just trying to played a little bit like kind of lasso, half guardish a little bit. And was able to pop him up, trying to transition to X guard. And next thing you know, I had a toe hold, and I was like, well, it's right there. I'm taking it. So that was...
Yeah, I saw that finish.
Yeah, so there was that. But, yeah, so I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to try to fight 2 different things in the same weekend.
I mean, it makes a great story.
It's a great story. It's a great story, but it's just like, you know, word to the wise is pretty tough. And kudos to everyone, kudos to everyone who did do that, because it just so happened that all of the guys, I know that there was like about 4 or 5 competitors that did that. So we were all either working the same table as a ref, or as like a table worker, and we're all like talking to each other. We're all looking at each other like, need more coffee.
Never again.
Need more coffee now. Like the other ref I was switching with, he also black belt. He also fought too, and we were just looking at each other like, so when's your division? You mind if I like just stop reffing now and take like 2 hours and stuff and just like slowly warm up for it and then go? And I'll do the exact same thing for you. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do that, man. Let's just like take like a morning shift and then afternoon shift and just do it that way.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, it worked out. You know, and then Sunday ref the whole day too. That's fun. I like reffing, to be honest with you. It's fun.
I mean, I don't, but just being on my feet that much.
Yeah, that's
but you're not. Yeah, you like the way the IBJJF runs it, and I've seen other like organizations run it too. You're like 1 hour on, 1 hour off.
Right.
And then unless you like, so for example, if Zito and I were reffing and stuff and sharing a mat, it'd be like, all right, Zito, if you want to take the first hour stuff, like I'll take the second hour. Take like an hour and a half, because so that way I'll, you know, like take an hour and a half now, so I'll give you an hour and a half so you can warm up for your division, blah, 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 blah. So we just come to an agreement and kind of go from there.
Right.
That's, you know, it works out okay. And I've seen that with other organizations too, like with grappling games and everything else. Mm-hmm. Also, although, you know, you do have your Ironman refs, like Merchant Adams, he's one of my black belts. He just goes in there and just yells at people.
Just
the whole time.
All day.
Yeah, being the curmudgeon old guy, he just yells at people and stuff like that.
He's the guy that fights Andre, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I think they're going to fight again.
Are they going to fight again
at the Minnesota Open? So that's for me. That's the last tournament on the docket for the year and stuff like that.
Is it?
That is the last
That's the
tournament.
plan. That's
the
I
plan.
did sign up for the Cincinnati Open, but I'm actually going to pull my name out of it. I can't make it anymore.
Okay.
So other obligations and stuff. But so I have to travel again. Out of travel again out of state and for that weekend. So I have to pull out of that one. Can't do Cincinnati. But that's the last tournament next weekend, Minnesota. We're done with that, and then that's basically it. I get to get fat. Basically, sometime December, start prepping for the
Enjoy
Euros.
the holidays somewhat.
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday.
I love it.
That is my favorite holiday. I mean, that's why I don't understand why they put Nogi Worlds in between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
That is like the
Which
absolute worst time.
Yeah, especially since the weight has to be even more on point.
Oh,
and-
yeah. Because you have that, you don't have that 5.5 pound allowance or whatever the hell it is and stuff.
right.
Yeah, that is like, for me, it's like, really? That's like the dumbest thing. It is what it is. I get it and stuff like that, but
Right.
whatever. But yeah, so it's funny because you see these divisions at Nogi Worlds, they're like so light. Like there's no one there, or everyone's fighting up like 2 weight classes.
Right.
So-
Yeah, I saw quite a few guys that were fighting up at least a weight class relative to their gi weight class.
Oh yeah, I haven't even looked at it yet. I'm sure there's people that are lightweights fighting at middle heavy and stuff. Oh, it's fun stuff. But anyway, But I mean, I think I deserve a rest, a little bit of a rest and stuff like that.
I mean, if anyone does,
Unless, of course, Seth comes calling, Seth Daniels from Fight to Win. If he comes calling, then, you never know. Other than that,
might jump on something last minute, huh?
Oh, I'm always a last minute replay. I love it. Like,
It's nice to be that go-to guy.
Yeah.
no, I have a real hard time saying no to anything. That's actually what happened at grappling games. So I ended up, I went to grappling games. I always have a gi in the car.
Okay.
Always have a gi in the car. So I went to grappling games, and all of a sudden I get a Facebook message from the promoter of grappling games, and she asks, "Hey, do you happen to have a gi in the car?" And so of course I reply, I'm like, "Yes, I do." And she hasn't replied back. I know she's busy and stuff like that. So I find her in the tournament. I just walk right up to her. I'm like, "Is there someone for me to fight?" And she's just like, "As a matter of fact, there is a black belt here, and he is looking for a fight." I'm like, "Who is he?" Like this, gives me the name, so forth and so on. I'm like, "Yes, I will fight him." When? I was just like, they were like, "About an hour good?" And I'm like, "An hour's good. No problem. Let me go get my gi." So literally, I just walk out, grab my gi, just do this fight and stuff like that. So I had zero intention of competing in it. But then again, I honestly had every intention of just grabbing my gi and in between, when kids go and adults go, just grabbing whichever adults were on the warm-up mats and just training.
Right.
So that's something I picked up from World Masters, and 2 years in a row, I had a chance to sit there and during World Masters when I was done competing, just train with really high level guys.
Right.
If you go to these tournaments, like the big tournaments and stuff, where they have like the huge warm up areas and stuff, there's always people training. So if you're done competing and you just want to get some rolls in and stuff like that, go to the warm up mats.
Right.
People
they're
are
actually
training.
rolling on the.
They're rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, last year's World Masters, I got a chance to sit there and work a little bit with Mikey Musumeci.
Yeah, he was there again this year, just supporting
Was
teammates. But yeah,
Yeah, so then this year, I got a message from, what was that? The last day of World Masters. I get a message from Gianni Grippo and stuff. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing around 2 o'clock?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I got nothing planned. What's going on and stuff?" He's like, "You want to train?" I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "Cool. I'm going to go train with Samuel Braga and Claudio Duval." So next thing you know, I'm on the mats with Samuel Braga and Claudio Duval and a whole bunch of other random black belts, black and brown belts that are just there.
Right.
And we're just training.
Wow.
And I was like,
While the tournament's going on.
while the tournament's
Sunday.
going on,
Wow.
we have no one. So it's funny because Gianni and I just had one last person to go. But then, they were running a little. It was the last day, and they had that.
things are a little.
Well,
The fitness thing going on.
No, well, did they? They did, but it didn't really affect us this year.
Okay.
Did you go this year?
I went last year.
Oh, okay, you didn't go this year. That's right, because we got to talk about your ankle too. So this year they did do the fitness thing, but they had it kind of a little bit more spread out, so you didn't really have to kind of deal with them.
Oh, okay.
But this year they had the Legends awards
yeah.
ceremony,
Yeah,
the one where all the absolute champions and stuff. So that pushed everything back about 40 minutes.
Okay.
So it should have been fine, should have been done and everything like that, but it pushed it back to the point that Gianni and I both had competitors that were fighting around that time. So we would do like a 5-minute round, and then I would, check our cell phones and see if they're and we'd sprint to the match and just coach and stuff, like all sweaty and stuff and everything like that. come right back, get another 5-minute round, and it was hilarious. We were just going back and forth and stuff. The both of us were, and they kind of all worked out. Got some good training in and stuff, and got to see one of my female purple belts get gold and get promoted on the podium and stuff. Promoted her on the podium.
Who's that?
Belt. Anna Nieves, Merchant Adam. You know,
Yeah.
I know you know Merchant. The guy who fights Andre a lot.
Yeah.
His wife won. That's actually the second year that she won the same division, but she had just got her purple belt not too long, maybe about like 8 months prior to last year.
Okay.
So she won, and then this year she won again.
Wow.
So it was just like, kind of time to promote you. So
So did you know you were going to do that?
I had it in my head, and for some reason I forgot. So it was fun. I forgot. I was just ill prepared. So it was hilarious because
Went sprinting for that belt, didn't you?
it was hilarious. I went to I forget, who did I go to? Was it Fighters Market? Whoever it was, I literally was because they were on the podium already. They were on the podium already. I literally gave them my credit card, and my ID, kind of threw it at them, grabbed an A1 brown belt, and started sprinting.
Yeah.
And I was like, charge me. I just took it and just went right back. And they're, of course, everyone's all laughing at me and stuff. And I'm still in my gi. I'm sweaty and shit and everything like that. And next thing you know, I cook up some, whatever random thing. And I'm like, hey, have you taken a picture with Merchant with your husband up there on the podium? And he's like, no, and stuff like that. So, of course, let's do it nice and stuff. Husband and wife on the podium, take a picture and stuff. So as soon as they got on the podium, I just take it out of my gi and just whip it up. And there's this great picture of both of them trying to catch it.
Oh, really?
It looks like they're both
That's awesome.
It's good. They're both trying to catch this belt and stuff. It's great. Someone got a good picture of it. I saw it.
That's awesome.
But so I let him promote her on the podium.
Okay.
He's a black
Right.
belt too. He can do it. So go for it. And then that was that. So and then I had to go back to, I think it was Fighters Market. Had to go back to them. I'm like, did you guys charge? And they're like, nah, man. We were waiting for you to come back and stuff like that. And I'm like,
nice.
well, so they were cool about it and stuff like that.
Right.
So there you go. But that's that story and stuff.
That's
but,
neat, man.
No, that's an
have
awesome
you
story.
have you promoted people on the podium before?
Yeah, I think it's. I've promoted some people on the podium. Some people think it's tacky, but for some
Really?
people,
Who thinks it's tacky?
I've heard some people say it's kind of tacky and stuff. But some people deserve to be promoted on the podium.
Fucking right.
So I know, what is it now? I mean, the IBJJF now I think allows you, because the IBJJF has rules on lengths at a belt and stuff. So if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 years going from blue to purple, year and a half going from purple to brown, a year going from brown to black. Those are your minimum
requirements.
timeline requirements, with the exception of if you win the world championships within that period of time. So, for example, I believe they established that rule when Edwin Najmi won. So he was a brown belt less than a year, and then he got promoted, and then they made him wait a couple months before he sat there and did that. And they were just like, well, that's kind of stupid. I think they basically kind of came to their senses. Were just like, well, that's kind of stupid. If you sat there and you beat everyone in the world at your belt level and stuff, you should be able to go on to the next belt level and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm glad they rectified that. But yeah, some people say it's tacky, and I'm like,
I don't think it's tacky. Do you?
No, I don't.
I don't think so either.
I don't see it, but people deserve it.
To win a Worlds or a Master Worlds or to compete at that level, for me, I know what it's like. I've done it, and it's so tough, man. And to sit there and accomplish that and get promoted on the podium is fuck, man.
Well, it's not just that too. It's not just because of course if you win at with the majors, and the majors are what Worlds or World Masters. I would say you have to consider World Masters as a major for
sure.
for the Masters division and stuff like that. You kind of have to. Yeah. Let's see here: the Euros, Brasileiros, Pans. If you win at those, go get promoted on the podium if it makes sense and stuff like that. I absolutely think it makes sense. Yeah. But I've promoted people too, at the Chicago Open on the podium.
Okay.
I think that's what people refer to it as being kind of tacky, and I'm like, no. Well, if this person is never going to be able to sit there, or is not really going to be able to have a chance to go test themselves as much as say myself or any one of us, or any of the people who go out to California or travel internationally to compete against the best of the best, so to speak. And this is the best that they can do.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
I'm all right with it. And some people are like, well, that person's never competed outside of Chicago and stuff. I'm like, well, not everyone's got the funds to do it.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to.
Right. You
Like,
don't have to.
You know?
Well, I think you do in a sense, but some people can't do it. But if they're really that much far, because the fact of the matter
if you're
is
a
that-
serious competitor, you
Exactly.
will find a way.
Right.
Yes.
Agreed. And then, but so that's that. Some people now, like, some people in our community, and it's not just the Chicagoland community, Chicagoland Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, or Midwest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, but also other regions as well too. There's still some individuals that kind of still look at it as I like being the big fish in the little pond, and never really want to go outside of that realm.
Right.
As long as you kind of, I've always tried to sit there and do belt promotions. I'm pretty strict on belt promotions for the most part. Blue belts, you got to be a little lenient on and such. I get that stuff because not going from white to blue. I used to be super strict about that stuff too, but not like you don't necessarily know what your goals are in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu going from white to blue.
True enough.
You don't really know. You don't know if you're going to end up becoming a casual practitioner, a super highly competitive practitioner, weekend warrior, whatever. You just don't know. So you kind of have to really get to know your student, really get to understand what their goals are at that particular point in time, and kind of award it based on that. Not everyone's going to be merit based. Not everyone's. Some people, will never ever be able to compete out of state. Some people will never compete. So you kind of have to just look at it like that. And for the competitors, let's just talk about competitors right now. If they never have aspirations to really compete outside of, say, the Chicago Open or grappling games or grappling industries or what have you, kind of take their body of work there from a merit standpoint and promote them. That's it. Now, obviously, the requirements get a little tougher as we go along to purple and brown and, of course, black belt and such. But, I always try to stress to my students, and also to kind of grade on the fact that, there's a bigger world. Jiu-jitsu isn't just a Chicagoland or a Midwest thing. We didn't make this stuff. I'm grading you based on what I've seen out there. Right. Now, that's a little unfair. I get it, but that's the way it is. I mean, some people may think it's a little unfair, but that's the way it is. Your blue belt, your blue belt, your belt in general needs to sit there and match up against other people's. If you go to California, if you go to California, even just to sit there and drop in and train, say, like at, I don't know, Atos, AOJ, or even whatever, Joe Schmo Academy and stuff like that, you better kind of know what you're doing and stuff, because you're a representative of our team, of Chicagoland Jiu-Jitsu and stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't want somebody out there who's a brown belt that,
exactly.
You're a brown belt in that small academy there, but out here,
Exactly. You don't want to get eaten up like that. What does that say about you? What does that? I mean, if I'm a purple belt and I'm like the best purple belt in Niles, and all of a sudden I sit there and I go to, I drop into St. Louis, and let's just go to St. Louis to like a Fuji tournament, like the JW runs, JW Wright runs. I'll go in there and stuff thinking I'm the shit, and all of a sudden I get my ass whipped and stuff like that. How's it going to make me feel? How's it going to make you feel and stuff like that? It's going to make you feel like crap. I want to prepare you for that. Yeah. Right. It's especially if I know that that's kind of sort of what you want to do. I mean, there's so many people out there right now that kind of it's not like that do jiu-jitsu, and it's like, they're all about perception. They want to be perceived as this and everything like that. It kind of sucks and stuff. It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art. It shouldn't be about, all this perception garbage and stuff like that. Let's go out there. Let's go train. Let's go let's go train hard. Let's go get good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Let's go good at grappling. Let's, just go good, get good at your martial art, develop it and stuff like that. That's what everyone kind of, it's weird because I get it. In order for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to grow, in order for our community to grow, right, we need to absolutely positively have more tournaments. We need to have more events. We need to sit there and kind of really kind of try to share the wealth. Right. But the problem is that it gets watered down. It does absolutely get watered down. You have blue belts now that no longer want to do tournaments. They just want to do super fights because they're pro grapplers now.
Is that really happening?
That's really happening. I can see it. Yeah. I can absolutely see it.
Not looking for you to call it out. Have you dealt with that in your academy, or you've just seen? Okay.
No, honestly, I absolutely have. But I've just basically, and I'm not shy to not talk about it. I've flat out said, you guys aren't pros yet and stuff like that. I don't even consider myself a pro, to be honest with you and stuff. pro in terms of the definition of being a pro grappler is that you honestly just get paid. You get like
Right.
You get paid.
That is
You get
your source of
really,
income.
really paid. That is your
Yeah.
source of income and stuff like that. I don't think anybody can really sit there and truly make that claim. Gordon Ryan, sure, why not? He gets paid a lot to sit there and Ton and Gordon Ryan, guys like that, Bushasha, things like that. They really go, like, hey, go fight at this tournament stuff. Here's tens of thousands of dollars, or I don't know whatever the amount is and stuff.
Plus, they got sponsors. They
Exactly.
That's all they do.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean,
that's their job. Their
that's
job
their
is to be a
job.
professional athlete.
Exactly.
That's it.
And there's not the percentage of competitors that compete at these professional events, because a professional event's a professional event. That's like
Correct.
There
But
are
that
many of
term
those.
professional is signifies the event is a
Exactly.
professional event.
And
not
some
you're a
people
professional.
just don't get it. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, look, man.
And Seth made that on when he was on our
Right,
podcast.
exactly,
He said
he did.
that.
I do recall that,
Yeah.
yes.
He's like, you're not a pro. We put on a professional event. That's why we call it Fight to Win Pro, meaning professional event. Not that we hire professionals.
I actually
Not that.
think that's why he took the pro out of the name of the event.
Yeah,
So
now
he just calls it
Fight to Win.
He just calls it Fight to Win, and that's it. So he even changed the handle. It's like the handle of the Instagram page and stuff. It's or everything. I think he changed. It's
all
like,
Fight to Win.
Yeah, it's all Fight to Win.
New logo.
It's all,
Looks good.
new logo,
Yeah.
new everything. It's like Fight to Win, BJJ, or like whatever. It's just
Right.
that. That's what it is and stuff. So, but yeah, like. Some people are just kind of like, hey, I'm a professional now. I don't have to do tournaments anymore. I don't have to do this and stuff. I'm like, I'm sorry, but
I don't even get that. Why wouldn't you want to do like?
Because it's beneath them.
Do you think that's what?
It's got to be something like
well,
that.
I mean, for some people, it's a financial thing. If I sell
Maybe.
tickets and everything like that, I can see it. I get it. I mean, there's money involved and such, and you never want to take the ability for someone to sit there and make money away from them and stuff like that. I mean, you never would. I would never do that. But at the same time, it's like people don't realize that the best guys out there that get invited to these professional events, they put in their time, they put in the effort, actually competing at tournaments and stuff. And that's a whole nother kind of like, discussion as well too, that hopefully we get to, but like they've put in the time. Look at it. Like, look at Fight to Wins, look at all these other all these other organizations and stuff like that. They look at the tournament circuit to see who are the most well-known people. Because if you're fighting in tournaments, you're fighting the most matches. And it's funny because in order to sit there and get onto these submission-only cards and stuff, these professional events, you need to be good at winning tournaments, which theoretically, I mean, like strategically is just a completely different game.
Right.
So, I mean, you can be very good at winning point tournaments, and then you get put into a sub-only and you can't do shit.
Right.
Like you just look like garbage and stuff like that. And it sucks, man. And it sucks that you have to go that route first and then kind of relearn a whole new game, but you kind of do. You put in the time to have this tremendous record. You win 80% of your matches in tournaments and stuff like that. You're constantly on the podium and such. You've got a name out there. People are starting to follow you, whatever. People know your name in local circles and the tournament circles. Like, oh my God, I'm in a division with that guy.
Right.
Holy crap. I'm in a division with Zito. God damn, he's a monster. He's a monster. Yeah. He's gonna put all 115 pounds on me. He's gonna get smashed and stuff like that. But like once you kind of build that reputation, people are just like, honestly, people like stop signing up because you're in that division and stuff, or sign up because they want to challenge themselves against you. And that's like the best compliment.
That's the best.
These guys are like, that's honestly why I sit there and I don't know if I talked about this before, but I always try to be the first one to register for a tournament that I want to do. Like the first one, the absolute first one, because I'm just like, my name's up there and, I'm in there, guys. Let's go.
Come get some.
Yeah, come get some. So it's funny because someone asked me that how and when do I start preparing myself for a tournament? I do it the very second I sign up, and I always try to be the first guy signing up in there, because then I take it as a personal insult that next person signed would be in my division. I'm like, oh, excuse my language. I'm like, this motherfucker wants to fight me.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's fucking go. You kind of have to.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You kind of have to some days and stuff like that. And I always try to sit there and tell, like, getting back to it, it's just like I always try to tell, like, my students, I'm like, guys, just because you're on pro events and stuff like that, and you're making a little bit of money, don't let that, if you're a competitor, this is obviously clearly you're a competitor if you want to do professional events.
Right.
But I was like, don't let that fill up get your head too big, and don't let it get your head too big, because the fact of the matter is that, like, the guys that you're fighting, those guys might be getting better doing these other tournaments, doing these local tournaments, doing these IBJJF tournaments, whatever tournament it is, because they're just putting in mat time and the right type of mat time with stressors on you, like, fighting someone else for something that matters, whether it be a medal or money or whatever the case may be. They're competing and they're constantly pushing themselves. And it's competing is a skill. We've talked about this. People, I'm sure you've had other guests here talking about it as well too, that competing is a skill. You need to learn how to compete. And not only that, you need to learn how to compete at every level. Every time you level up, every time you got that new belt, there's a different set of guidelines, so to speak, at play. Some of those things are very similar and easy to make switches off of. You just flip a switch and you're good to go. You can now understand how to operate within that system. But after I got my black belt, after I got my black belt, I had to I was weighing a little bit here and there, but I had to reinvent the wheel a little bit. I tell the story all the time. I didn't really win anything. I think I won one, maybe two matches at blue, to be honest with you. But then I didn't really start winning until I was a purple or brown belt. I was winning a lot. And then as soon as I got my black belt, I kind of went almost a little above 500. I was like, man, the hell happened and stuff. I had to relearn how to win. I had to relearn how to fight and how to compete as a black belt and stuff. And then it kind of just all clicked and I was like, okay, I got it. Here's how to, that's, but I will say this, watching black belts fight sometimes is kind of like watching paint dry and stuff like that. It's horrible. But I do miss the days of being a purple and brown belt where everyone's just trying to make a YouTube highlight and you just try to kill each other and stuff like that. That's on man, to you aspiring competitors that want to be on professional fights and stuff like that, record all of your purple belt and brown belt matches, make highlights off that. That's sell yourself that way. That's the best way to do it, because that's when you're going to be the most exciting. That's when you're the most hungry and stuff.
But do you think that tournaments like grappling games, I'll say for instance, because I know that they do the professional events as well as the small tournaments, do you think they're trying to get away from the small tournaments and just do fight to win cards? I think that's their ultimate goal is let's, because I don't know what how much they make on these events.
That's the thing. I can't speak on behalf of all those organizations and stuff, but
so they're the only ones that do that. That do both, or does Newbreed do a professional?
No, Newbreed does not do a professional event.
Who else does a professional?
No, grappling does a professional event. Submission Hunter Pro. That's
but they just only do.
Yeah, I think that's
they only do
Submission
that. Submission Hunter.
There's a lot of Submission Hunter events.
Submission something pro, whatever.
Something.
I forget, but
one does a pro, one.
Right, they did one. Was it 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? Something like that.
There was something.
Also at Oaklawn.
Right.
Also at the Oaklawn Pavilion and stuff. And
Submission Hunter 33. That's right.
Yes, that's what it was. Submission Hunter. You put sub in front of anything, it's the same thing to me. But so I'm sure I just insulted every promotion that puts sub first. I apologize. I can't read. English is my second language. Sorry, guys.
There you go.
But
open excuse.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I'm going to stick with that. But it stinks because it's so submission Hunter Pro. That's what it was, right? 33.
Yeah. Yes.
So they came to the Chicago market. I know they were trying to sit there and get a whole bunch of help and everything like that.
Right.
I think the problem was, number one, they put it in a venue where you can't have alcohol. That's why no one went.
Oh, is that right?
My understanding, my students that were there and stuff like that, they were saying it was kind of dead in there and stuff. So it was nah. I mean, with a pro event, if you really want to sit there and kind of make some money, you kind of have to sell alcohol.
That's true. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, you really, really do. Think about this. My biggest knock, and I've expressed this to grappling games and stuff. I've talked to some people. I haven't talked to Amy though, but the grappling games pro thing. They also do it at the Oaklawn Pavilion, right? And they have intermissions. What's the purpose of an intermission? To go and get alcohol and stuff like that. You go to a concert, you go to alcohol sales, you boost it up and stuff like that. They don't have any of that. So it's why are you taking an intermission? That makes no sense to me.
It's a really crowded bathroom break is what it is at that point.
Yeah, exactly. At that point and stuff like that. And just it makes zero sense to do an intermission at that point. Mm-hmm. Plus I remember the painstaking grappling games pro event that I was at earlier this year. It was only painstaking because I coached the first fight and I coached the last fight.
Oh.
And there were 45 fights.
Right.
That is with intermissions.
Mark,
with
why do they have
intermissions.
so many fights?
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
I don't get it and stuff like that. It's with intermissions too.
Right.
That made
long
that's a
night.
long day.
There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to get people in the arena without relying on just the competitors to bring their family and friends to pay for a ticket.
I think that's the one way to do it. I think promoters are relying on the competitors
to bring their
initially to
family
say
and friends.
exactly.
So the more competitors we have, the more people we get. But
Exactly,
then,
but that doesn't really make
it doesn't work.
That doesn't work. It does not work. It's like it's the type of competitors that you bring too. Yeah. So sooner or later, I think there's going to be a bidding war between all these different promotions and trying to sit there and get the big name athletes and stuff, the big names to compete on their cards,
Right,
and
to
stuff.
sign them.
Exactly, to sign them, and that's kind of like.
how you do that?
Exactly. How are you going to do that? Right now, no one's got the money to do that just yet and stuff like that. Unless you got that Chechnyan money, the ACB money, all that stuff like that. Like you got to talk about, those organizations can, but those are like the really big time organizations that can do it yet, and not everyone's on that level yet.
Kasai, rather.
Kasai, ACB, Fight to Win, pays well, and supports the Fight to Win's got they got the momentum. They really, really have the momentum. You kind of have to support
but they're different than ACB.
Exactly, they're different. And the thing I like about Fight to Win, and conveniently works for me, is they not only support the adult black belts, the up and coming adult black belts that haven't signed with these big name organizations yet, but they support honestly the black belt competitors or the really good black belts that are masters. So if you'll notice on every single one of their cards, they have a good percentage of master black belts on there, guys that are known within the community and stuff like that. And it makes sense. It's very smart. It's very intelligent because those guys have been the longest tenured guys in grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the community, and they bring in the people.
By the numbers, they're going to bring the most people.
They're bringing the most people and stuff.
Most well known. Oftentimes they run academies.
Right.
Their students can watch.
But I think me personally. I mean, I just like to see high level black belts.
Doesn't matter what age. Agreed.
Doesn't matter what age. I just like to see, because Maneko, yourself, you guys are fucking dynamic, black belts.
I'll agree with that.
Me personally, 30 something on a card. Like if you're 33 event or matches on a card, it's just I like watching the kids. To be honest with you, the kids' fights are freaking awesome. What's her name?
Mariah Malinowski, that fight was great.
That fight was amazing.
Fight of the night
For sure. That fight was amazing. I like to see those kids fight. I like seeing Benjamin Salas' son fight. Those fights are great. I like to see those just sprinkled in between brown and black. I'm a purple belt. I don't need to compete at those cards. I did sign up because I just like to compete. That's just me. But I don't know if you need. I don't know if you need.
I don't have a problem with lower belts competing though. Especially
so many
talented, hungry
people.
lower belt. That's going to put on a show.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great show.
Sure.
I have a problem with blue belts competing, and the only reason being is because it's so difficult to kind of determine the type of blue belt you have. Blue belt's the hardest belt to compete at. It is. In my opinion, blue belt is the hardest belt to compete
100% agree. Because that guy could be in his blue belt for 8 years. That guy could have, just got into the fresh promotion. It's almost like black like that. Exactly. Not as long, obviously, but
exactly. So black belt, same thing. Like once you get a black belt, there's nowhere else to go, right? But at the same time, you've gotten a black belt. There's a certain level of proficiency, high level proficiency. Absolutely. You should at least expect. So the fight's should be a lot closer. I'm not sure, of course, fighting Bushasha and stuff like that's a whole other thing.
Right.
But like the elite of the elite, so to speak. But at blue belt, you can have that person who, hey man, I just signed up for this because I want my kids to see me compete on that big stage, and I'm just a leisurely blue belt and stuff like that. And then you have that blue belt from like Manaus, who kills black belts,
right?
like a black belt killer, that, and all of a sudden you put them two together, and all of a sudden you have a murder.
Right.
We've not seen that yet, but give it enough time.
Yeah, give it enough time. That's gonna happen. So it's like you can't. It's like blue belts. I get it. Like they deserve their turn too. There's some really good blue belts, but I would say get them off the card and stuff like that. It's just.
But again, we were just saying like purple belt is one of the most crazy competitive belts. Guys are really looking to get out there, show what they're capable of. So I wouldn't want to deny a lot of really talented up and comer purple belts.
I'm not saying that. I just think
I'm just saying
something to. I mean, at blue belt, when I knew I couldn't fight a fight to win card, I was like, oh man, I gotta wait till I'm pro belt. So I was like aspiring to get on, but I think even if it was just at brown, it's like all those pro belts are just gonna like, I want to get on that. It's like I want to get on that card. I want to show I can do it. I want to do it. And they're gonna sit there and they're gonna compete in the local markets. They're gonna compete because it's such a hard thing to get on, and it just makes his event more valuable.
Right.
If you start diluting it,
Well,
and
part
I'm
of the,
just not saying that pro belts aren't good competitors. I'm just saying I like to see high level, and I think fight to win is at the highest level when it comes to these tournaments or in local tournaments like around the country, not the ACB or any of those other ones. But I just like to see his stock go up, and I think the way to do it is to have premier, brown, black, and sprinkle in a purple belt super fight in there. Sure, sprinkle in a kid super fight in there like they do for when they first started out with that EBI. They sprinkle in a match in there, kind of like
until they had that one kid just completely tear up the other kid's
right,
knee.
exactly.
Oh God!
But I like that format. But then you have like what 15 matches, maybe 20 tops.
Well, here's the caveat to the whole thing and stuff. It's how many people and who's applying for these things. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough brown and black belts applying to this thing, and you have
right.
a set goal of filling in maybe 25 to 32 matches and stuff, it's usually about the average for like say fight to win. You got to put on more purple belts. If you have like 100 purple belts compete, apply rather. That's the pool that you've been dealt with. And
But
stuff.
to get the audience that aren't, jiu-jitsu artists or competitors that would want to watch that, or just, you're a fan of jiu-jitsu, they're not going to be like, it's just fucking purple belt. Like everyone's going to sign. Let's just say when flow grappling slows down, it's not in the beginning.
It's always at the end, yeah.
It's at the end because everyone wants to see Vives fight. Everyone wants to see the end of they want to see the black belts at the end. That's when you start like, fuck, flow grappling, kick me off.
Hold on. So let's break this down here for a second though. Okay, so first of all, like, and I don't know the numbers. Like Seth probably has a really good idea of what he needs in terms of number to people and how many people they bring on average and whatnot. But like, okay, are we talking about trying to bring in new fans? Because if we're talking about trying to bring in new fans, we're definitely not talking about people with flow grappling accounts. Okay, like if you're spending $30 a month to watch jiu-jitsu, you're already deep in the hole. Okay, you're an existing fan.
Agree.
Okay, so this is not like it's on TV or readily available. So the only new fans you're probably bringing in, unless somebody's having some kind of fight to win watch party, okay, is probably going to be people that are coming to the live event. Okay, now you cast a bigger net, you're potentially going to get more people. Now, not everyone can be a Newbreed where they're bringing in a ton of folks from the event, but like for sure, 100%. I go to a fight to win. Okay, the early card is the lower belts. We're putting like it's actually working out really well. But we're putting like purple belts, then kids, then brown belts, then black belts. Right. That's the current flow of a fight to win. Okay, there are for sure a bunch of people that are going to leave because their kid or their buddy, the purple belt, already competed and now we're gone.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Like for Seth, already got that money.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. And then like there's going to be people that stick around, and it's going to be the quality of the matches that really brings them in. Like would you rather see, and I'm not trying to call anyone out here, but would you rather see like this absolute like two purple belts, brown belts, kids, whatever, spitfires going at it, putting on this crazy exciting match, super entertaining stuff, and then now it's black belts, and it's like, oh well, we're getting into a fantastic negation contest, and now it becomes a war of inches. And if you're not that super educated fan with the right angle, might I add, you're not going to appreciate what's going on. So like I get it, like you're deep in. You appreciate the intricacies of jiu-jitsu. When you go to a card, you want to see the highest level of competition. But at the highest level of competition, we're not going to wind up with those highlight reel finishes
not necessarily
as often.
As often. But the one thing that I've actually sat there and kind of experienced, at least like I've had, like, of course, after an event, you walk the crowd and everything like that. You'll have people who will come in and say, like, this is my first professional jiu-jitsu event. And this is, I think, what every, not just Seth, but I think what every type of say professional promotion is trying to kind of strive, at least trying to do for the local teams and stuff. I've had individuals come up to me saying, this is my first time actually watching jiu-jitsu. And like, for example, some of Mariah's friends and stuff, their parents, they'll come up to me like, this is my first time watching jiu-jitsu and I've never seen it before and stuff like that. And it was really interesting to see and it was really cool.
Right.
It's like, and they've just been exposed to it. And of course, like, not like you said, though, they've stayed for the black belt matches. I'm talking to them after the show,
Right, yeah.
So like, so they've stayed for the black belt matches. They're looking at the inch games. They've seen the whole different things. I'm sure it helps when you have someone who's educated in what's going on next to you.
He's telling you what's going on.
Telling you what's going on. And I'm sure there's the, like in the quiet movie theater, they think, what's going on? Like that happens too. So at least people are staying and watching some of the matches. At least there's a percentage of people that are staying and watching.
Definitely.
So as long as we get that, there's going to be growth. There's going to be new fans. There's going to be new members. Doesn't matter where they are and stuff like that. And I've always seen an uptick as a school owner. I've always seen an uptick in inquiries, just like, hey, we're going to learn. Just get a text message or an email from some random person. It's like, hey, just, and it's working. Like Seth has always made it a point, and I know, you're there, you've been there where Seth addresses everyone at weigh-ins and stuff. He's just like, one of the main goals is to sit there and get that new person. Now we're going to put on a show, and like, we're going to put on a show. We want you guys to put on a show so that way you get that new person signing up on Monday. And it works. I mean, it does work.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, that is definitely one of the goals of. If that is definitely one of the goals of a professional event, of course, make money too. But if that is definitely one of your goals, it is working,
right,
to a certain extent and stuff. So I mean, that's good
always
for us.
been his thing. Like he wants,
says it.
right away,
every single time. He says it right away. Like I remember the first couple fight to wins, he would come out on the mic and actually say that, like address the crowd.
Yeah.
That would be his intermission, his big like quick, just say it and stuff like that. But he would say it and it would happen. So he's definitely doing that.
What do you think about? Because we talked about this on a podcast before. Doing like a quintet with Fight to Win, like having like Carlson versus Newbreed versus Soul Fighters versus Brazil 2-1 or versus
I think it's a great idea, to be honest with you. And I think with subversive. Thank you. God, I can never say it. I see it. I'm just like, the Fight to Win team thing. That's all.
So that's his Fight to Win team thing. Is that what that is?
Yeah, he's only done one event, and who knows? Maybe it becomes like a quintet thing and stuff. I mean, you never know. I think it's kind of a cool idea. It's funny. My daughter like messaged me, shot me a text message. It was just like, "Hey, what's this quintet? Like, what's this quintet thing?" Because we had two teammates on there, Marcos De Souza and Roberto Satoshi Souza, and they were part of the Sakuraba team. Okay. So she was just like, "What is this?" And before I could answer, she looked it up. Like, "Oh man, it's really cool. It's really cool. I hope they do something like that sooner or later." Like for a Fight to Win or like any organization and stuff. I hope you get into something like that. Yeah. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I do not want to fight someone as big as Josh Barnett. The whole time I'm like, nah, no, thank you. It's not for me.
I mean, there's obviously, it doesn't have to follow quintet exactly.
Right.
There's other formats that could be used. I think the idea, and we've bantered this around a ton, of having some kind of team league sort of event is a pretty cool one.
To be honest with you, we should have and this would be a logistical nightmare, I think, but there should be some way to sit there and set up like dual meets, just do it like high school wrestling, like do it
100%, and
do it something like that. I think the quintet thing would be a really, really cool, just something cool to explore.
Yeah.
I'd be, me, I'm always down. Yeah. I'm always down.
No.
Where are we doing this? Where are we, now? Let's go.
I've got to get in my car. Hold on.
Hold on. Exactly. I have to get in the car. But give me 15 minutes and give me my headphones and we'll take care of this problem. I'm down for anything. I think a quintet style would work. I mean, think about it. It's Survivor Series. Who doesn't want to fight in the Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's go.
Unless Gordon Ryan's on the other side.
No. I'm talking about WWE. WWE. We need chairs and tacks and all this stuff. But it's essentially you're talking about hey, we're gonna fight in the Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who doesn't want to do that? That's cool as hell.
It's an awesome format. I like it. This last one was just fantastically exciting. I mean, could not have. I know I've already said that, but the Polaris versus 10th Planet round was just fire from beginning to end.
Yeah.
There was not a dull moment. It was crazy.
It's funny to see though that 10th Planet was the only team that actually brought a real team from one from essentially one team.
Yeah, and like talking to 10th Planet guys, still very deep in that world, obviously. Like a lot of our guys took immense pride that we were fielding a team.
Yes,
just
as
from
you should.
our team,
as you should.
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but like Sakuraba, like who started it, didn't field a team of just Sakuraba teammates.
The
per se.
the Sakuraba team, if I'm not mistaken, is basically the Halio team. So Halio is like basically essentially BSN, the equivalent of BSN in Southeast Asia and Japan, based out of Japan and stuff. So it's pretty much all of their sponsored athletes. So that's the team that kind of like fielded and stuff. So I get it. It's like more of a marketing team, sort of like
loosely affiliated. But
loosely affiliated. They're just all underneath that kind of sponsorship banner.
But yeah, like Polaris, they're not all Polaris competitors, are they?
So Strauss is.
Yeah, Strauss is.
Jones is.
Jones has.
I forget. Why am I drawing a blank as to who else was on that team? Because it was a good team too. I was like, But clearly the Alpha Male team, that was like the mercenary team.
Yeah, no,
was like,
Alpha Male was 100. Like that was actually the thing. Like
the mercenary team.
I have absolutely no problem with someone putting together a super team, but I was kind of annoyed that they called it Alpha Male because Alpha Male's an existing team for MMA, and it's like, well, this is disingenuous.
Should have been
Those
like
guys-
Faber, Akbari for sure, 100%. I'm like, where did Monch come in? Aren't you union? Like, where? Like, what the hell?
We're flying in ringers.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I don't necessarily. That kind of defeats the purpose of this whole team thing. It's changed the name or something like that.
Yeah, no. Like, had it been named something else, I wouldn't have minded it really. But also, like, the rules don't prohibit trying to put together like the team of killers.
Right.
So,
and I think eventually
that's the smart move.
I think eventually it'll kind of go that route. I mean, look at what. So this is the first quintet in America, in North America. Mm-hmm. So they had the last quintet, which occurred. When was that? Summer, June? I want to say June. Whatever it was, Carpe Diem won. They flew in David Garmo. So David Garmo trains at Detroit Jiu-Jitsu and stuff, and they flew him in and stuff. So, I mean, they still won, but like they flew in like the same exact thing. Like you're in your host country and stuff, and you can't field the whole team. Right. Like, come on, guys, field the whole team and stuff. So it's like, I think eventually I'll get to that point. I think it's pretty cool if they eventually get to that point. So I mean.
Where they're just people putting teams together?
Yeah. So right now it's just going to be, hey, let's just put some teams together and kind of do it and stuff. Right. But no, I think it's cool. I love the pro events.
It would be super cool to be able to say, listen, we grew this quintet squad from like the ground up. Like that'd be an awesome thing to say.
That's basically what 10th Planet did.
And that's what 10th Planet did.
And they should take pride, 100%. Right. I mean, like, absolutely. I think they were the only team that could actually potentially do that. I think if Quintet does another one, it's a North American one. I think definitely for sure Lloyd's going to put something together. 10th Planet again will put something together. Could put Atos, Carlson, whatever. Yeah. And you could put a whole bunch of Gracie Baja guys. Oh man,
right.
Like
there's plenty of big teams that could definitely pull something like that together.
Yeah, it's just big. It's just a huge. It could be big because it could be Gracie Humata or Gracie.
Yeah, I just don't know how much money is involved in it and stuff like that. That's the kicker. That is the ringer.
But again, if you're not going against Gordon Ryan every time, let's just say
he looked good.
Yeah, of course,
he looked real good.
But if
when does he not?
If you could start promoting, like what 10th Planet's doing is really cool because those 5 guys are getting their name out there,
right?
They're promoting. He's promoting his guys, so maybe someone doesn't know someone from Atos or whatever, or just whatever gym, and now they can put together 5 of their gym guys who aren't. Their names aren't big yet, but now put them on the stage where they're like can become something, bigger
getting
than
really good exposure,
becoming a boogeyman or a Geo or getting their name out there, getting exposure, and Henzo Gracie's B team to get their name out there, or something like that.
But like going back to like exposure for like, dare I say B team guys? I mean, I don't mean it that way.
I don't mean it that way.
But like, there's obviously that route, but you still have to sit there and kind of have that you already have to have an established name and be like, okay, like we're 10th Planet now. So Eddie's not going to sit there and send Boogeyman. He's not going to send Geo. He's not going to send any of his ringers or anything like that. He just sends, he creates his, dare I say, again, B team, and send them in there and stuff. But you first have to get to that level and stuff. Right. And if you don't have that team or anything like that. That's why I, always keep going back to, guys, compete in tournaments. Pay the money to get to compete in tournaments and stuff.
No, you have to hone your craft before
Exactly.
you
Thank
deserve
you.
that.
You absolutely sit there, have to hone your craft, and you have to keep the blade sharp and everything like that. You have to go back to tournaments and stuff every so often. It's really what was that? We're about a month removed now from when the IBJJF announced that they were going to start charging all competitors.
Was it all?
All competitors now.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
Not white.
white.
Oh, white as well.
If you wish to compete at an IBJJF tournament starting
must be a
2019,
card-carrying member.
Exactly. You have to be part of the NRA. You have to have that membership. I actually agree with it. To be 100%, to be perfectly honest with you,
I partially agree with it.
but I 100% agree with it. To be honest with you, I've actually heard talk about this when I first started competing at Pans, back in 04, 05.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I first started hearing that they were going to start doing it and stuff like that. Back when Papa John Gorman was still a part of Gracie Baja and stuff like that. I believe he's one of the pioneers of of Gracie Baja America that brought him in and stuff. Right. They kind of went their separate ways.
Heard the name, don't know him, but
yeah, but but he was talking. I remember talking to we're having lunch and he was sitting with a bunch of other people and he was sitting there talking about it. I'm like, huh, all right. Sure enough, you can kind of see it. Black belts are required, brown belts are required, black and brown and kids. Now all of a sudden purple belts, and now it's just and when they made the announcement for purple belts, I'm like, just watch.
Yeah, when they did purple belts, I'm like, blue's coming eventually. I don't know how soon.
Right,
and then blue's next year.
Exactly.
So Mark, what is the cost for a black belt?
So if I'm not mistaken, so for me, I just renewed mine not too long ago and stuff because I registered for the Euros. It was $35, 30 or $35, whatever it is. So I think your first one is just 40, is an extra $5 more. And then to renew it, it's just you get a $5
for the whole
discount.
year.
Yeah, for the whole year.
January, it's fiscal year.
Yeah. So I always renew in October because it just takes care in case I lose my card because I always do. It basically expires the very next year and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I agree with it. So if I'm not mistaken, and
hold on, I want to. Sorry, let me jump in before we get off the subject. But it costs more to be a registered black belt where you're putting people under your flag, correct?
Correct. So
so black belt competitor is one price.
Yes.
$35 or whatever
it is.
Yeah. And then registered black belt, X number of degrees.
But you only pay for basically, for example, if you register your academy, it's $50. To be honest with you, and I might screw myself. I have not. You have to register your academy because that obviously then you can put everyone sign off on everyone there. Yes. It's $50. I've never had to pay it ever. I paid it one time and that was it. Never had to mess around with that ever again and stuff like that.
Definitely seen a different experience by other people.
Okay, I paid for it one time. Though actually, I paid for it twice because I had to put in a change. So now I was whatever, how many years ago and stuff like that, I had to put in change. So that's fine. That makes sense to me. And honestly, if they charged me every year for that and stuff, it's $50. If I'm an academy owner that can't afford $50 annually, I got a problem. So but I haven't. Fortunately, I better not get a bill.
Vives, we heard you on the Grappler Union.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Carlinius is find this man.
What do you get for that? Because I have a card.
Okay.
What do I get for that $40?
So that's the thing. So that is, I believe, where the argument is and stuff like that, the value of it all and stuff. It's what does this card get you?
Yeah.
So, and that's the tricky part and stuff. It's right now, I struggle too to kind of find the value in it too. As a black belt, the cool thing is that I never have to pay for any entrance fee, spectating fees, or anything like that. I walk right in through the door and stuff. I just show my card, I get a stamp, and that's it. Yay, yay, Mark.
Why? What events you have to pay for?
If you're a spectator, not competing.
Exactly. If you're not competing.
Oh, they charge for spectators?
Some events.
Oh, they do.
Some events. So
it's usually listed on the registration page.
Exactly. So Pans, World Masters, they actually charge for spectators too.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So so obviously, if you have the card, it usually means you're competing, and usually you just walk right through.
Right. Exactly.
So it would be nice. If you are it's going to be different now and stuff like that because everyone has to be a card carrying member of the IBJJF/NRA. But it would be different now because now there's no way to distinguish who's a competitor, who's not a competitor. Just everyone has to have a damn card. But as a black belt, I don't have to pay for. I never have to pay for a spectator fee. I do like the tournaments with the coaching areas. Pans, World Masters. I love that, to be honest with you, and stuff like that. At World Masters, it's really cool because you can clearly hear the people coaching you. At Pans, you can clearly hear the people coaching you.
Speaking of
It's
World
wonderful.
Masters, I was watching World Masters at my desk, and the weirdest thing, every camera I went to, fucking Vives is in the fucking I was like, what the fuck is every time I click on a mat,
Not even my
Vives
meta.
is fucking back there. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy everywhere? I'm like, this is really weird. Every
Actually,
time I
there's 12 of
click
them.
in-
That's how we can do something right.
It's everywhere. It's my older
clone him.
brother and my younger brother. We all look the same. All us yellow folk, we all look the same. But it's
Glad you said that and I didn't.
no, but like, us Asians are the only ones that can tell each other
Right.
apart. No, but anyways. So this past World Masters, I brought a team of 35.
Okay, so that's why you were everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere.
I was like, what the fuck, man?
So I was literally everywhere. I was literally everywhere, running around. It was
Yeah.
like me and Carlos and John Gutta were like,
And plus, you're gonna abuse that privilege. Be like, oh, this is a good match. Hold on, I'm stopping here.
I would have you don't understand. I was I was having lunch in that area because I'd just be just eating my food and whatever, just like having lunch there. It's just like no one bothers you,
Right.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I do like my quiet time at tournaments and stuff where I don't have to yell.
Yeah.
So at Pans, man, you'll just find me sitting there just like dozing off and stuff like the coaching area. So that's kind of nice and stuff. But
that is a black belt
a
privilege.
black belt perk. Exactly. So to answer your question, what does that really get you and stuff? That's really what it boils down to and stuff. That is, I don't think anyone has an issue paying it if it gives you something else.
Right.
So if I'm not mistaken, and Javi, I think you might have experience with this, with USA Wrestling and USA Judo, if you're a competitor, there is indeed also a similar thing. So for USA Judo, I think at one point in time it was like $95 or $90, but now it's I believe $70 annually.
I don't remember what the price is offhand. I'm actually not a registered member of USA Judo, but let me jump this because we had mentioned this before. There are absolutely benefits that come with that.
Right.
Okay. There's insurance.
The insurance, there is insurance,
Yeah.
and from what I understand, it's like incidental, like it's per incident, it's like $25K per incident or something like that. Someone was explaining it to me. I'm like, and I was just trying to remember all this jargon that they're throwing at me. I'm like, cool, whatever. But yes, they get insurance. They get discounts on other things and so forth and so on. And the same thing applies it's actually one of my students, one of my purple belts is he used to be a head coach for the NCAA program at Boston College. And his kids are also registered with USA Wrestling.
Right.
He says for kids, it's $50 for annually and stuff. He's just you get a magazine. He's like, you get a magazine. You get it monthly and stuff,
right?
And then and that's what you get, and then you get to compete at their tournaments and stuff. So, if you're an adult, it's more. But then most adults that compete at USA Wrestling, I was kind of told by one of my other black belts who's big into the wrestling world, saying that most people at the professional USA Wrestling level and stuff, they belong to clubs, and the clubs are very well funded, and the clubs usually kind of basically absorb that cost and will pay that annual fee for them as long as you're part of that club. So you never, as a competitor, you never see it and stuff.
Right.
So it's, the practice of actually charging for an annual membership is not something that's coming out of nowhere.
This is not a foreign concept.
It's not a
in the
foreign
competitive
concept.
world at all.
It's just a matter of where's the value in it. And that's actually, again, too, who knows what's going to happen with that extra revenue? I don't know.
Right.
And stuff like that. It would be nice. It would be really nice if I think two things kind of need to happen with that. Number one, discount the kids. Man, discount the kids. They can't, I get it, but you got to discount the kids a lot because, for example, our kids here in the Chicagoland area, there is one IBJJF tournament they can compete at annually. Mm-hmm. That's it. Chicago Spring Open. That's it. They can't, there is no summer spring. There's no summer open for the kids.
Right.
They just compete once a year and stuff like that. And not every kid who wants to sit, what parent is going to sit there and shell out an extra $35 or whatever the heck it is for $40 for their child
Above and beyond the registration fee.
Right.
Exactly. So it's just it's a hard pill for me to swallow as as a father as well too. I have 3 kids. I don't want to spend an extra $120 on this for just one tournament and stuff if they want to compete. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So discount that And also, again, like the other thing is like, I think you do need to provide a little bit of value. And what is that value going to be? Are they going to hold more? Are they going to start paying more refs to be more like, because obviously reffing's always kind of a thing and stuff. It's just like, everyone always argues about refs and stuff like that. Doesn't matter what tournament, doesn't matter where we are or anything like that. Everyone always argues about the refs. Now, granted, like, the IBJJF, because they can put on as up to 4 events in a weekend. Mm-hmm. I've seen that. They've put that on like, oh, we're doing 4 events. Well, damn, where are you getting all your refs? So, or like World Masters alone. Was it 26, 27 mats?
Right,
Yeah.
Right. You know what they're going to do with that extra money? AI.
I know. There's
AI refs.
Stop.
It's coming up.
Stop.
That's what they need the money
just like
for.
Major League
Research.
Baseball, right? No, but like it's so that, I mean, if you use that money and you hire more professional refs that travel around, cool.
Right.
If you use that money and basically you have more pro events, like they had like over the weekend, LA BJJ Pro, or the LA Pro or whatever the hell it was and stuff. Cool, do that. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Maybe they partner up with certain vendors, like.
Right. I think that, but I think that's the problem. Like, not only do you not know, as somebody who's very deeply involved in it and competes all over the place and knows a ton of the refs and whatnot, nobody really knows, okay? Because there's been no statement released saying we're doing this with the intention of whatever.
I agree, and that's actually I was going to lead right into that. I was just like, the problem is that it just was not communicated efficiently or effectively. Yeah. It just was like on a press release. I remember I was in Atlanta at the Atlanta Open, and it literally just came out. Someone just forwarded it to me and said like, "Hey, just to let you know, we're doing this." And it was literally like that. It was like literally like an FYI.
Right.
No explanation, no nothing. It was just like FYI.
Yeah. Next year,
we need your money.
Yeah.
And but that was it. And so I think if it would have been communicated and like even just saying like, "Hey, we're doing this to increase the quality of like blah, 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 blah. We are looking into certain things." They don't even have to mention anything, but at least if you word it like that, where it's a little
right, that would have mitigated a lot, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
But at the end of the day, here's the deal. It doesn't affect anyone that's already involved in the IBJJF. Why? And I put this on social media. I remember replying to a couple like threads where it was on there and stuff. I basically just put like, look, at the end of the day, the best guys are fighting in the IBJJF. I mean, pretty much the best guys are fighting in the IBJJF. I think the only guys that aren't fighting in the IBJJF that are going to be fighting in the IBJJF are Gordon Wright. Or well, he has fought in the IBJJF recently as well too. Nogi Pans.
Yeah, he just did Nogi Pans.
Yeah, he just did Nogi Pans. He's probably, and then again, he's transitioning to the gi, so he's going to be like doing that as well too.
Right.
But if we're talking, let's just talk about the gi right now, because I do believe that if you want to be the best gi grappler, you need to be competing at Abu Dhabi. Period. And stuff like that. That is your worlds. Go get that.
I'm sorry. No-gi grappler,
no
you meant
gi
to say?
grappling, yes.
Okay. So best no-gi, Abu Dhabi is the goal.
100%.
Best gi,
Worlds. 100%.
IBJJF World.
Yes. Like that. I mean, that obviously there's Abu Dhabi World Pro as well too. Both are pretty good, but the Worlds is kind of where it's at. Not everyone can get to Abu Dhabi. But, if you want to sit there and prove to yourself that you are the best, you got to go where the best guys are competing at. Where they're competing at the Worlds. So basically, pay that $40 a year because you're betting on yourself. Do you believe in yourself that you can be the best and be the best period in your division and stuff like that? Cool, ante up. It's like literally just a buy-in. If you're like walking, if you're a gambler, if you're going to the casino, that's your buy-in. That's your ante.
That's your blind, right?
Exactly. That's your blind. Like here you go and stuff like that. No matter what, you lose $40 for the next 365 days. Right. So let's just go. Like you're betting on yourself. So what's the big deal? I don't really see it. Like I would do it in a heartbeat.
No, and it could give someone the incentive. Hey, I got this card. I might as well just go to this tournament and just sign up because I got to use this card. I have it.
Yeah, and
could be that.
Bear
Could
in
be
mind
that as well.
For everyone in this room, like we're already paying the fee because we're higher belts.
Right,
this is only affecting people that are fresh to jiu-jitsu or only been in for a little while.
Which makes me laugh because some of the commentary that I saw from the people online were coming from like purple and brown belts and stuff that have competed within the past year or 2 years. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, FYI, you guys are already paying this.
Right. Well, I mean, they can still perceive it obviously though as a money grab or something that. I definitely have talked to some people who are like, not my kids, but like the kids in the academy. Now they need this cost. The lower belts that wanted to try it out. This is just like, for sure. I don't want to say like, certainly not all white and blue belts, but most white and blue belts aren't going to get, I don't know if they're not going to get the full value out of it because they only got 1 or 2 local tournaments for the IBJJF that they're going to do a year, you know, whereas guys that are like out there getting after it, like
they're traveling.
I don't give a fuck if I have to pay a couple of bucks extra a year
Right.
for a card that says I get to compete and
Exactly.
and
At the end of the day, no one cares.
But if I was doing
none of those guys care.
Right. Yeah. But if I was doing one tournament a year because, you know, I don't know, the Toronto Open is once a year, right?
Right.
You know, that just happened. It's a probably one of the smallest IBJJF tournaments. They had like 6 mats, you know, like, okay, maybe that additional cost for my one tournament a year, you know, proportionately it seems a lot more.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
I get it. Like I said, I have a real big problem with it as a parent because they only have one tournament, and I'm not. It's not like I'm going to be flying my kids out to California,
Right.
for kids bands.
Yeah,
and stuff
there
like
you
that.
go.
So I mean, like, you know, it's technically my 19-year-old can pay her own way. I don't care. but like, you know, I've got an 11 and a 5-year-old and stuff. So it's like, you know, they're not going to be competing at like you know, IBJJFs like all over the country and stuff like that. So I personally have just basically told them, for example, my 11-year-old asked me like, "Hey, can I compete in the Chicago Open?" That was like last year and stuff. I'm like, what, you know, because of that fee and stuff. I'll let them compete at the local tournaments and stuff. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Compete at local tournaments.
Right.
It's not a big deal. It's a flat fee for me and stuff. But that's the only unfortunate thing about the whole thing. So, you know, just it's who knows? Maybe we're gonna sit there and see value of it and stuff like that. But again,
I'm shocked that they actually brought it to the kids. That's really shocking to me. Like that's a weird decision. Like adults, okay, blue, white.
no,
White's crazy to me too. Because at white, you know.
You don't even know if you like
I didn't even
jujitsu.
know you like jiu-jitsu. I mean, we bring at Monaco, we bring white belts in, and you know, they've never competed, they've never done anything,
They've never done anything
And, you know,
competitive.
Andre's like, oh, just try it out, go compete. You know, let's go, let's see if you like it. And he encourages it. They're gonna pay $40 plus the $100 and not even know if they like it yet.
I push too. I honestly am a big fan of trying to push white belt. Push is a very, very kind of like, you know, let loose.
Sink or
term.
swim, boom.
Exactly. No, yeah. It's like, so I highly and strongly suggest that, like, you know, that like white belts try to compete.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's just a skill. Like we were talking about earlier, it's a skill you got to learn.
Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing, and you know, like I don't know what the percentages are. Maybe somebody's actually done the math, but you know, most schools that I've trained at, you'll have a couple of competitors, or the schools that really push competition have a pretty significant competition squad. And then, of course, you've got your guys that are casual. They're in it to get a good workout in, stay in shape, you know, whatever it may be. Not everyone's going to compete all the time.
So I actually have heard numbers before. So these numbers are a little older and stuff like that, but usually it's about 5%.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty low. Relative.
It's pretty low, but it's weird. It depends how you run the academy and stuff. To be honest with you, I believe that Andres and I probably have a higher percentage.
I would say much. That's what I was going to bring
That's
up.
the thing.
Like you guys, your academies push the competition angle, prepare the guys appropriate, of course, too, which is a huge thing. Like there's nothing worse than being in an academy that wants a bunch of competitors and doesn't actually train right. for it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you push it. Where do you feel those numbers kind of end up for you? Like
So for
you
me-
definitely have more than 5%.
Yes,
but
I'm at about 35.
that's really impressive.
35,
to me.
40%. So it's like, but the thing is that not everyone wants to compete at IBJJFs because they don't feel that they're
Right.
ready for it. So they'll compete at the smaller tournaments.
Right, do a
And
lot. Naga, grappling games, whatever
I
it
would
may
say
be.
35%, give or take. So a third for sure are competing.
Yeah. So that's still excellent. I mean,
Yeah,
that's good.
It's but like, and I believe Andres is about the same too, more or less. I would say
I don't think
he
it's that
clearly
high.
he knows the numbers and stuff like that.
I mean, I know our competitors, but I don't know if we're at that that percentage yet. But yeah, I know it's big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's big. I would say it's a big percentage.
I can't fairly say what like LCCT or any of the other schools are, but the one thing that is consistent is it's always the kids that really bring the numbers.
Yeah.
Like the kids absolutely get after it. You know, I'll see a picture from like a post tournament picture, and mind you, people leave before the picture's taken all the time and whatnot. But I'm like counting adults, and it's like, oh, you know, I don't even need 2 hands for this. And then it's the kids, and it's like swarm.
Yeah. So at LCCT they have a large amount of kids that compete.
Yeah, well, we have a fairly impressive number of kids
That train.
and quite a few of them compete. Again, now that's mostly in smaller tournaments, Naga, Fuji, things like that. You know, we don't have the kids chomping at the bit to do IBJJFs and things like that.
Yeah, I have not been to a Naga in God knows how long, and I refuse to walk into a Naga and stuff like that. It's
I've seen the last one I was at was actually run pretty efficiently, certainly compared to the previously last one I was at, which I was there still waiting for blue belts to go up at like 8 p.m.
So my Naga story is, you know, I used to sport Naga all the time because it was the only name of the game.
Right. Yeah, I
It was
remember
the
those
only
days.
name of the, back in the day and stuff like that. You had to and stuff. That was it. And they had it at Oak Lawn.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you know which one. I think were you that one?
I'm pretty sure I know this one. Yeah.
Oh man! And I remember because I had my 19-year-old with me, you know, because no one else could watch her and stuff like that.
Right, because she wasn't 19 yet.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know whether she was like 8 or 9, whatever the hell it was. I literally sat there, gave her.
Yeah, this has to be.
Has to be the same one, right?
This has to be like 8-9 years ago.
So my division, I was a brown belt at the time. My division didn't get called until 12:15 a.m. It was horrible. And then by that time, of course, I'm warmed up, ready to go. The 2 other guys in my division sat there and didn't show up. They left. So they tried to bump me to the black belt division because there was a black belt there. And there's like another black belt there and stuff.
It wasn't a tournament. It was an endurance challenge.
Exactly. No, 100%. It was great. It was a battle of attrition. It was great. So it was funny because there was 2 black belts there. And I remember Joe Cuff. I love Joe Cuff. Is he still the one that runs the whole thing?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, okay. So Joe Cuff and I always got along and stuff. And so I just walk right up to him like, hey man, both my guys in the brown belt division just basically decided to up and leave, which I understand. Is there a way? Now, I'm ready to go right now. Can you get me in that division? You know, with those 2 black belts and stuff. He's like, you know what? It's really up to them. Let me ask them. The whole time I'm like, just say yes, let's go. Just say yes, let's go. And they're like, one said, sure, I don't care. The other one said no.
Right.
And he walks right up to me. He's like, yeah. One of them said no. And the whole time I'm like, which one? He would not tell me. And stuff. I figured out who it was, but he would not tell me. I was just like, yeah, exactly. So of course, I'm over there, kicking the ground and stuff. Like, what the fuck? Just throwing a little tantrum and stuff like that here all day long and shit. But, after that, no more. Would not do it. And I hear there's other local tournaments, and I'm not going to talk too bad about them, but I hear there's other local tournaments that are kind of going around the same route, going towards the same route of becoming as bad as that and stuff. But
we've had our experiences.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, come on, man. Unfortunately, someone asked me too, is just would you support another organization that did it better than the IBJJF? Absolutely. 100%. If they did it better, they start calling the shots, you're going to sit there and comply, right? But right now, it's the IBJJF. They are the gold standard. If the UAE, did you know, I don't know if I told you this before, did you know that the UAE actually put in a bid to buy the IBJJF 3 years ago?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I heard it from someone pretty damn reputable. I'll tell you off the air. I believe it was $50 million. Wow. They turned it down. And I would too.
Well, that tells you something. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. That absolutely tells you something. So it was funny because I was having a chat with someone the other day, and it makes a lot of sense. I was having a chat with Nick Sim.
Okay.
And, we were doing the math and stuff like that. And basically, when you sell a company, the standard rate at what you're going to sit there and sell a company for is usually 10 times what you feel the value of your company is.
Right. Currently,
exactly. Currently and stuff like that. So that's the going standard and stuff. So yeah, they completely got lowballed. They completely got lowballed because at that point, they are much more than a $5 million company.
Right.
So I think I would have to argue that they're a $500 million company, if not north of that, 100%.
Right.
So yeah, it was 100%. But they did put in a bid. UAE did put in a bid, and if they did actually get the bid, and they kind of turned it over and everything, yeah. The other tournament I really like is Grappling Games. I mean, you've been to Grappling Games, right?
Yeah.
I've been not as a competitor as just as a spectator.
So yesterday's tournament ran very smoothly, very quickly, very well run. And I think, don't quote me on this, but someone was telling me it was their biggest turnout of the year.
Oh wow.
Man, that thing was done by 4.
Wow.
That thing was, they were letting refs go like at 4.
There ain't nothing more beautiful than getting out and still having an evening
Yes.
after a tournament.
Oh yeah, 100%, especially with the UFC. So I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I can go home, get a bite to eat,
Yep.
take my time, get to where I got to go, and then watch the fights and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like,
Nice.
it was, they ran it real, like they're not one of my other friends who's one of the most critical individuals about tournaments and stuff like that just goes to me like, dude, they did a really good job. They were, like I said, they were letting refs and workers go around 4.
Wow.
They were expecting to be there by 6. So they were running extremely efficiently, extremely good. So, man, good job. Kudos to you guys. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Send my guys
what
your
I
way.
see sometimes, and I don't know what is ISOF? I see that on the bottom of
Oh, that's
flyers. What is that?
I'm
Do you know what that is, Mark?
ISOF?
Right? You know what I'm
Something
talking about,
series
right?
of fighting, clearly.
No, it's something.
no. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's like it's a registration database for competitors that's then used by things like Submission Challenge and whatnot.
Is it like the smooth comp
it's
thing?
ISOF rules. So International Submission Only Federation
That's
Mission.
it.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah. So like I don't know if Derek started it or not, but yeah, the previously the Midwest Submission Challenge eventually just became the Submission
yes,
Challenge.
yes. Right.
Is using that as the
a
rule
ranked
set, and
sanctioned
they're
by
yeah.
ISOF. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's their like.
Now, like I said, I don't want to talk out of turn. I don't know if Derek's
here.
directly involved
That's
with
what
that.
the logo looks like. Sometimes you see that on the bottom of like.
But yeah, if you
I have seen that logo.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what that is. They
Okay.
keep track of competitors' records and whatnot cross event, and I believe they have a unified rule set.
Oh, it's like MMA.tv or mixed martial arts. Like, oh, there you go.
kind of yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure dog.
Yeah, what's up, color? No,
But yeah, so
I haven't seen that logo too much, but I have seen that logo.
Yeah, I've seen it. I couldn't remember. I've seen it. I'm like, what is that all about? But no, now that you said that, now I remember. It's with Derek for.
yeah, and Gracie regionals, nationals, worlds, whatever. I think is part of it as well.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like, getting back to like just the growth of jiu-jitsu, or just getting on that topic rather, it's just like overall, it's getting better and stuff. Everyone's trying to,
Yeah, for sure.
you guys are doing a good job.
Thanks.
Now that Paul's not here and stuff like that, I hear the numbers are up for Grappler Union.
Yeah,
100%,
Killing
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Hi,
Paul was bringing us down.
I know, he's holding you back.
That's the real problem here. Actually, I feel like it's our diversity that brings them in, because there's some guys that are like, I ain't listening to some.
Wait, was Paul's broadcast of was Paul's episode of Grappler Union like the lowest rated one?
No.
Technically, yes.
By the numbers, it's like it's just Paul on different computers downloading and stuff like that. It just
That
goes to
would
your
be
buddies like,
beautiful.
that would be great. If it's like, hey Zito, let me see your phone.
Yeah.
Download. Thanks. Javi, let me see your phone. Download. There you go. There's 2.
We had 37 downloads from the Chicago Public Library. This
know.
is amazing.
Everyone at McCormick Place is just going around everyone's
that's
phone.
bad,
He's like, hey, excuse me, can you download this
we
episode?
should shut that up,
Download this
because
episode.
he's still got time to get those numbers up. I mean, like,
oh man,
you're like,
Oh, man. There's a lot of people that work at McCormick Place. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
he's
saying.
got a lot of people to choose from.
Yeah.
So Zito, man, the last time I saw you and stuff,
I was limping. You were helping me off the stage.
I was helping you off the stage. Everyone asked me, it's just like, who's that guy you carried off the stage?
Because I couldn't walk. I'm like, Mark,
I
just
know.
pick me up.
I was
So he
there.
carried me like a little baby.
yeah, you
I
could.
was just like, we're going, boom. It's
Yeah.
like this and stuff like that. So I mean, like, I haven't seen you since
Yeah.
then and stuff. And I know you're nursing another injury as well too. But
From that same fight.
Yeah, from the same
Which
fight.
Didn't know I was injured.
Yeah.
I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast ever since. But yeah, so
Our fans are about to tell us whether you've talked about
probably
it on
not
the
yet.
podcast.
So I injured my foot in that match against Paul Doe.
'Cause he hit you with the dough hold.
He hit me with
the dole. Yes, I like it.
Unreal.
I like it.
So he hit me with that toe hold, and then I injured my rib, which I didn't know I injured my rib. So after 3 weeks off the mats, I go back to class to start teaching, and I was in a roll, and I pulled a white belt female, and I'm like, she's probably not going to be too crazy, too heavy, someone light. I'm going to watch my foot. And she just went past my feet, which I let her go, and then she went right to side control, and I was like, oh shit. As I tried to like shrimp and pull off, I know. I just felt my rib just like that cartilage just pull hard. I was like, oh shit. And that was it. So apparently, according to my PT, the injury that I sustained on my rib feels like it's not really injured at 2 to 3 weeks, which is when I went back, but it actually takes about 4 to 6 weeks to fully heal. So I re-injured it, and now I'm off the med.
So you're saying November is when you hope.
November I should be back. November 1st. That's what my physical therapist.
What goes next year? What are you trying to? What are you looking? What's your next the return of Zero?
Yeah, the return. So not only I've had a lot of time off the mat currently, right? So my I'm gonna definitely change up. I was talking to Paul about this recently, Paul Maloney. I'm gonna kind of change my game. I think that
You're going to change your game?
my game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not only my game, but my training too. So yeah. So I mean, what I've realized, and
Now you realize you say this. Everyone in the Chicagoland area going to have to hold you accountable.
Exactly. So
This is on the record.
you're on the wrong side of 40. So you're going to go drill to win or PED to win?
yeah, right.
That's inquiring minds want to know. No.
Zito doesn't do anything but half steps.
That's
so.
right. I go all in. But no, I mean, I just think I watch my fight and I watch my other fights, and I just see a pattern of complacency. Basically, in that fight, I was doing well. I was working my game. I was listening to you. I got the sweep, and when he sat me down, I went to that position. He allowed me. He wanted to go into foot lock position, and I was like, okay, let's go. Instead of thinking, well, why does he want me to go into that footlock position? He might have been training for something specific. And just because I know footlocks, or I think I do, doesn't mean I should just go there. That wasn't my game plan. My game plan was not to do footlock at all on him.
Right.
My game plan was to smash, stay on top, and look for an armbar submission to that effect. I was not thinking at all going, below the waist, basically.
So he took you out of your game plan, but he put you someplace that was comfortable.
Exactly. He took me out of what I was trying to do, and I was like,
Paul Dell took
okay.
notes.
So I was like, oh, okay.
No, I even told you, like,
Right.
we were backstage. I'm like, if this thing turns into a foot battle, you're good. Just
Right.
You go automatic, and that's it.
Right. So I was like, all right, you want to sit down? Let's do this. And then when he was going for the straight ankle lock, he didn't have it. I knew it wasn't there. And I'm like, all right, let me go for the corkscrew, which I went for the corkscrew on him. I had it probably wrong position according to Hobby. Hobby thought I was a little too high. I was too close to my chest, wasn't low, which was fine. So then once I got rid of that hold, I was going to waste energy on it. I was like, okay, we're kind of stuck in this 50-50. Let me turn out and get out. That's when he grabbed my foot
that's when he got it.
in the transition of me turning, and that's why I was able to quickly turn. And I think that quick turn of that popped my rib and my foot. He popped my foot, and I was like, fuck.
Oh, it was a nice hold.
It was a beautiful toe hold. I mean, it was fucking beautiful. I mean, I've never felt anything like that.
When you're healed up, we'll work.
Yeah. So I had fun, man. But now it's kind of, I think it's a good thing because it allows me to look at my game and look at how I train. And when I roll at the gym at Mineko's or wherever I roll at your gym, I'm always like, all right, let's see what you can do. And then I just pull the guy on top of me or do whatever, and I kind of like defend a lot. I'm not really getting after it as much as I should be, and concerning with like, oh, okay, you want to take my back? All right, go ahead, take my back. I'm just gonna sit here and defend, and then I'll eventually get out. I think that I did that a lot at white and blue, and I think now that I'm at purple, I need to kind of like reevaluate how I've been training and say, okay, well, it's not always about being on the defense. And I'm very hard to choke out. That's okay. Big fucking deal. You've been doing that. Now it's time to say, okay, now let's start chaining submissions and now start setting people up for certain things that I want to work my game and keep to that formula. Not be so complacent. I just, you want to sit down? Okay, I'll sit down. I don't want to do that anymore. So I want to really like focus my game on like staying on top, not just being complacent and going for the kill,
I think that's actually what you're going through is what a lot of competitors kind of go through at certain stages and stuff. So, for example, it's like that. Coincidentally, that transition from blue to purple belt as a competitor and stuff. A lot of people get a little too complacent. But not only that, there's certain times I think all competitors kind of fall into that. Like, I'm just going to spar during this competition or during this event. Kind of like
It's just a role.
Exactly. Where it's just a role and stuff. It's just, we're just sparring. I do this every day and stuff like that. So they end up sparring out there and stuff. And I like for me, what I always try to sit there and tell competitors is, and even for myself, is quickly get to the position where you feel most comfortable in, where you know all the control points, where you know how, like basically, you know the defenses and everything else. Set your controls, take a deep breath if you need to, and then start attacking. Start basically throwing your ticks out there. I think I remember talking about it like I look at matches like again because I'm Asian, like a fighting game. And stuff like that. So I look at it, I honestly look at it as Soul Calibur. I love that
good
game.
reference.
I love Soul Calibur. My favorite character is Keelik from Soul Calibur.
Keelik's awesome.
So cheap. It doesn't matter and stuff like that. So I'll just use this goddamn bow staff and just keep ticking you apart and keeping you away. And you're just checking everything, just checking to see where your cracks are. And but I'm attacking. I'm controlling and attacking at the same time, but I'm looking to see where the kinks in the armor are. Once I find them, I'm like, okay, take note of that. I'll come back to that. And then I'll sit there and just kind of mess around and stuff. And then I'll get right back to it and hit it. And really kind of attack that weakness that I saw earlier. And then from there, just really, really kind of pour it on at that point and stuff. So I think you're and I know but the thing is that when you come, you can't basically sit there and say you're going to change the way you're training because you're training, you know that and stuff. So it's about, so for me.
But my intensity is I'm not as intense as I think I should be. I'm a little on the
passive side.
Exactly what you're talking about. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Donnell Etienne actually asked me about my training yesterday at Grappling Games. And, he's a good friend of mine. We're just going back and forth. And he asked me how I was able to basically compete so much this year. So I just got off a string of 11 competitions in 15 weeks. So he's just basically saying how are you able to sit there and do that and pretty much kind of not feel run down or anything like that. So I told him, I'm honestly, what I did earlier this year, even before Pants, so we're talking February and stuff, is I changed the kind of the ebbs and flows of how I was training. So me being on the wrong side of 40 and stuff like that, I realized I can only really train super hard 2 to 3 days a week. Like jiu-jitsu, super freaking hard, balls to the wall, flip on the DMX and let's just beat the crap out of each other hard.
Again, good reference.
Love DMX. No, if you come to Newbreed and DMX is playing and you train with me,
it means it's gonna be a rough roll.
It's fucking hot, man. It's fucking hot. But
I'll know what to request.
Exactly. No, it depends. No, but lately I've been to old school Chicago house music and just play that and kind of go from there. But so I only train hard Tuesdays, Thursdays, and some Sundays. And I'll get back to that in a second. If I feel I need more cardio, basically and stuff, I'll train on Sundays real hard during competition class. I don't run competition classes now in the fall, mainly because the comp season for me is dying down.
Right.
And I like to watch football on Sundays, so I'll eat a pizza and watch football. Sorry, that's what I do. So, but if I need that third day, I'll do it on a Sunday. Everyone always asks me, when do I drill? I drill in class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. So basically, as I'm rolling and stuff like that, I will not go harder than 60, maybe 70% the whole time. Maybe I'll burst in a transition or scramble, but I'm always just I'm drilling. I'll pass your guard. You are going to recover. Whether you like it or not, you're going to recover, and I'll sit there and pass your guard again. Yeah. That's a good example there. But then murder, death, kill time is going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'll do a 2-day if I need to. I'll lift. I try to lift 3 to 4 times a week. Sometimes it's twice. It just depends on my schedule and stuff and what's going on. But I try to lift in the mornings, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
So on those not killing yourself days?
No, on the kill myself days, I will lift in the morning.
Oh, okay.
To be honest with you, I think lifting, especially accessory work. So I have a strength coach, 50 barbell. He's based out of Hawaii, Czech, Cambria and stuff. And so basically it's like conjugate method type deal stuff. Like I can't really go into it too much and stuff because he writes his programming for me. Sure. But I'll sit there and do all my strength training, and then there's a whole bunch of accessory work wherein I use to kind of just strengthen my body and stuff. I always feel like I just put on a suit of armor and I can basically kill everyone on those 2 hard days. And I go real hard in the paint. Fridays will usually be a little bit lighter training day. Now this is kind of why that Saturday. That's the tricky thing. So Saturdays typically you're competing, right? So I always gear myself up for Saturdays. So if you come, you've been at an open mat in Newbreed on a Saturday, my first 2 to 3 rounds are just warming up. I don't care. Doesn't matter and stuff like that. But the next couple of rounds, I'll only do as many rounds as I think I will go through as our forecast I could possibly do in a tournament, and a big tournament coming up. And when I'm done, I will fight them like matches. Like I will if there's a sub, then I'll just finish out the rest of the round, just kind of drilling and stuff. It's not a real big deal. But I will, so if I think I'm going to go, let's just say it's Pans or World Masters, I got 6 matches to win the whole thing. So I'm going to sit there and do 6 rounds. So 9 rounds total, 2 to 3 rounds of just warming up, take a break, sit there and do a round, take a break, do a round, take a break, and I'll go until I sit there and hit all 6. And I try to sit there and basically literally compete with whoever my partner is going to be. And obviously I try to sit there and kind of make the partners a little different in terms of their game and stuff.
Right. Get some different looks.
Exactly. Get some different looks. And then usually the biggest, baddest guys are the toughest guys in there. Guys who help me out. Nick Spacek helps me out a lot. Nick Sim, obviously, and stuff. Whichever black or brown belt's there, you're in my semifinal. I'll be like, you're in my semifinal. You're in my final. We're going to go hard in the paint. Let's go. And after that, I always have the goal of don't give up any points of anything and stuff. Even if nothing happens and stuff, I just don't give up any points, even if I can't score. And yeah, that's kind of what I do. And I think that has helped me. That Saturday, number one, try to limit my hard days to two, maybe 3 days. That's clearly helped me kind of stay not broken. And of course, Sam Spiegelman with his muscle activation therapy.
Yeah.
And then coming in every Saturday and basically fighting. Every freaking weekend.
So every tournament just becomes a day at the office.
Exactly. So I'm either competing at the gym at open mat, or I'm actually at a competition.
Right.
Period. So I'm ready to go every Saturday because I usually fight on Saturday. So it's I'm ready to go every Saturday. There's a mental switch that just turns on. So I think that's helped a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe for you, honestly, pick a day where you're just gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna fight everybody here. Let's just go.
But only once that rib's good.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, and stuff like that. But what's your target day to come back on and stuff like that?
Well, I think this
fight to win in the spring in Chicago.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably. I would say that something if I can get on that card, but that or the next IBJJF March-ish.
Yeah, usually March-ish and stuff like that. Yeah. How about you, Javi? What's any competition desires for you?
Combat wrestling in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Combat Wrestling Worlds. I got a.
Where's that at?
St. Louis, and I'm sorry if I have a note of disappointment in my voice, but I was really, we have awesome people in St. Louis that help us organize the whole thing. So that's the reason. This is very, very much an early world level sport, and you need all that help that you can get. But at the same time, I was like, man, all our athletes that are coming in from out of country are pretty much flying into New York or LA. That would be an exciting trip for me to go compete in New York or LA. And I'm like, St. Louis, it's a car ride. So
good barbecue.
Yeah, no, we're gonna make the most of it. Go to the Museum of Clay or whatever it's called. The City Museum. Sorry, the City Museum. Been there before. It's gonna be a fantastic time. I've got a rough idea of who's in not even my weight class. I got to go up a weight class, but who's coming. So I don't know them personally, just what countries are represented in my bracket. So yeah, looking forward to that. I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. If I'm feeling crazy enough, I'll sign up for the Absolute.
Nice.
Yeah.
No interest in doing a fight to win or a pro event or anything like that, or another IBJJF? I'm sure I'm sure Zito's popped that question here.
That question's been. So I've done a couple of pro style tournaments, but no super fight style tournaments. Okay. So I've done Zapatero, I've done Jiu-Jitsu Kumite, I did the EBI trials.
Right.
And I had a blast at all those. Although, let's be very honest here. There's no Masters Division EBI qualifier. You're going against the cream of the crop young bucks. Those are rough. Those are rough tournaments. I'm interested in potentially doing like a super fight style tournament. I'm somewhat reluctant to do one locally, not because I'm afraid to win, to lose in front of the hometown crowd or anything like that, but it's just like
He doesn't want to fight his friends.
almost everyone that's in my weight class is somebody that I'm friendly with.
Come
And
on. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
I got a different switch in my head than you do.
I know.
It's like a switch over the top reference, man.
Yes.
There you go.
It's like a
Well,
switch.
you did fight that one guy, Aaron, who had on the podcast in that one tournament. He felt bad. Aaron Johnson.
Yeah. No, I mean
That was at Gracie.
but that was
at
different.
Gracie Regionals.
That was different. See, so not like I'm like this violent sociopath or anything. Like, don't take this the wrong way.
Really?
Can we edit this part of the show out? No. So like,
Hey, I'm a Gemini. I'm naturally bipolar and schizo. So there you go. That's right. It's in my nature.
I have to be very able to get into the zone, and when I'm worried about how, like, man, Sean Richmond fucked me up. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Because I know Sean from outside of competing against him, and we had to go against each other in Naga. Okay. And I walk in there, I'm like, hey, Sean, how's it going? Everything's all friendly and everything. I think we're in the same division together. Yeah, I saw that. Your buddies and I were joking around about it online and this, that, and the other thing. And he's like, yeah, hey, this is my wife and this is my son. Yeah.
He did
And
one
I'm
of
just
those.
like he wasn't. I don't think he was trying to pull a Zito on me.
Yeah, I know. Because I've seen Zito in the bullpen. Zito, you're the best. You're the best. He's like, hey, man, how you doing?
But yeah, I have a problem flipping the kill switch on somebody who I know, God forbid, I know their wife and kids. Because like when I flip the kill switch, I have to go in there and break somebody. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have to be. I'm not necessarily going to, but I have to be willing to cripple a man to win that tournament, and that's really easy to do when I don't know the person. Like
I get it. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And
I've seen you compete. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and it's much harder for me to do when I know that person. Like I compete all the time when Riley puts on like a tournament at one of the we'll do like small in-house tournaments at the Sambo camps and whatnot, and it's like, shit, there's people here I know, and I know I'm going to compete way worse. Even when I win, I just know I'm going to compete way worse because it's some dude I know. And if I hurt somebody like that, then I feel terrible about it afterwards. It doesn't faze me in the moment of competition at all.
But don't you think? So here's my thought process on it and stuff like that. Because this actually kind of happened and stuff, and we had a weird scenario at the Worlds. So two of our black belts, Matt Layton, Asher Dharma. So Asher is currently out in California and he's obviously repping Gracie Bond and stuff like that. He can't rep us. He's out there.
Right, he's training there.
So they just so happened to get put in that. You kind of had this weird feeling that it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. They got put together in the first round with the Worlds, with the World Championships and stuff like that. And it sucks. And I get it. And those guys are like, they're boys and stuff. And I get it. They I told them, I'm like, hey man, at the end of the day, you guys need to handle this the way you want to handle it and stuff, and just go. And I respect their decision and the way that they handle it. But here's the tricky, hard part about the whole thing. Let's just say, obviously, you guys are co-hosts and everything like that and friends. If you guys enter the World Championships, you guys are
Zito better bow out.
I know, right?
That's what's going to happen right now.
The fact of the matter is that you're representing LCCT, you're representing the Necklace, right?
Yeah.
Soul Fighters. So you're going to end up. There is that small chance that you guys might end up fighting each other in the first round. Right. But the thing is that if it's like, say, the World Championships, you're in the Worlds, there's only one world title out there and stuff. And friends or not, you kind of have to put that on the wayside because if you choose, let's just say, for example, Zito chooses to bow out and stuff, but you now limit the amount of times you could potentially sit there to win the Worlds.
For sure.
Does that make sense? It kind of sucks. And
No,
I get it.
It's a bad situation.
It's a really bad situation. So getting back to your point, stuff like that, I'm like, if you know everybody, if you know everyone in the room, it's like, man, you kind of limit yourself.
Like I said, it's not that I can totally compete with guys at a tournament where I go, okay, well, he's in my division, but maybe we won't meet up.
Right.
That alleviates that pressure immensely. And then when we do meet up, then I either am going to compete at my maximum intensity, or I'm going to turn in a less than ideal
Yes.
performance. Like
I mean,
that's
but,
what's
you know,
going to happen.
even
But here's the,
Minetko-
hold on.
Yeah,
Here's
go
the thing: when it's a super fight, I know who I'm getting. I can't get around it, and my head will go fucking crazy with the fact
Yeah.
I will be a nervous wreck going in, knowing this is my opponent, this is who he is. I've fought this guy before a million times in the gym. You know, I know his style, this, that, and the other thing. And
No, because when you,
Right.
I get it. That's like one of the reasons everyone always asks why Andre and I haven't fought in like a fight to win or anything like that. And like we grew up through the ranks, and it's really hard. Like it's really hard. Like we know each other off the mats and stuff. So it's a very difficult situation. And we fought each other in tournaments. We fought twice in tournaments, and we competed out of 5. We competed out of Naga and stuff. So like. But that's it. Those are the only 2 times we've actually ever competed against each other. And, you know, we both kind of look at it the exact same way. It's hard to say yes to a fight, if a super fight, because like we know each other so well.
Right.
Right. I get it. Like that super fight has to make a lot of sense. It has to make like the most unequivocally, this you kind of have to do it. I get it and stuff like that. If that presents itself, then we deal with it then. But at a tournament, yes, I understand. Like you go into a tournament, it might happen, it may not happen,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it just
I get it.
it
100%
eases
get
my
it.
nerves, let's say. So like I'm in no way, shape, or form shy about like doing a potential super fight or something like that. It would have to be somebody who I don't know or don't like, but I've been told that everyone suspects that there's no one in the community that I don't like. So I don't know. It would be a very short list.
You can tell me.
So you make it happen.
I know, right?
Yeah,
No,
no.
I mean, like it's the same kind of thing. Like you're trying to get matches and fight to win and stuff like that. I'm like, well, I know all these guys.
Right.
It's like, well, I would prefer not to fight these guys, but like, you know, do what you got to do. It's like I'll fight anybody at the end of the day and stuff like that. And like, you know, it's like, you know, is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, and stuff. So I mean, we're all gonna fight each other sooner or later. So that sucks. Yeah. So like,
Eventually, it's probably going to happen. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so like, and like, I'm not throwing this out there to try and get it, but like, I'd be way more comfortable if you know, Seth was like, you know what, we've got a fight to win in Detroit, you know, whatever. Here's an opponent, local guy. Have you ever fought it? And I have no idea who this person is. This is beautiful. I'll go. You know,
right.
But that's not the MO. You know, I don't have a name where I'm going to bring in fans in Detroit. You know, it's not like I'm not Gordon Ryan or something like that, where people are like, oh, dude, that guy's on the card. We got to go. So obviously that's not valuable. I'm going to sell tickets because local guys that I know well want to come in. So like it's one of those weird situations where I mostly want to fight either out of town or an out of towner or somehow somebody that I just don't know.
That's usually the case, though.
yeah.
I mean, that's usually the case, though, where at least like for me, I'm usually fighting out of towners.
Right. Well, you're a bit of a different kind of draw there.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just like most of the people that like I would say, because what I've noticed, the brown belts, like for example, Fight to Win, I looked at the Combat Court. I looked at the Grappling Games Pro like list, fight list and stuff like that. There's really not that many, and I'm going to make the assumption that the people that got put on the card at brown belt are the only people that actually sit there and kind of like, you know, apply.
Signed up, yeah.
Exactly. So, man, the brown belt levels are kind of thin. Like they're kind of thin. It's basically the same guys fighting each other.
Right.
It's really, really the same guys fighting each other. So I think that it's going to get to the point that somebody from Milwaukee is going to need to sit there and come down and fight here and stuff like that. It's like, you know, until the purple belts get promoted.
Right.
It's like, you know,
I mean, and that's like, okay, I don't befriend everyone I compete against. So
not like Zito.
Unlike Zito, yes. It oftentimes happens, but not always. So like a lot of times, I don't mind if I'm going to wind up fighting the same guy over and over again. You know, that's cool. We're not bros. But as soon as I get kind of buddy with a guy, then I know that next match is going to be that much worse.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the thing is that I've been competing for so long on the tournament circuit and stuff like that. Like it's funny the people that you meet and stuff on like, and you meet them in the weirdest ways and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I've totally been on both ends of, I lost a match against this guy. He's awesome. I want to train with him. Next time you're in town, please train with me. Things like that 100% have happened to me.
Yeah. But I mean,
but then it makes it so much harder for me to go, let's now take a fight with that guy.
But I mean, this is why I like the whole headphones things. I do not take off my headphones until like literally after I check and I'm about to get walked out there and stuff. Right. Because for fear of actually running into someone that I do know that wants to start or someone I already know that I'm really, really good friends with. Right. Like Kyle Watson, Josh Webb and stuff like that. I think Josh and I are like the exact same thing. We're friends. We're great friends and stuff. Like we're pretty cool with each other and stuff, but we don't talk to each other. Right.
Headphones on, game face on.
We do not talk to each other at all. Like, man, we'll catch up later, dude. Like, it's like, I'll see him at the tournament. What's up? We'll talk a little bit. How's the family? Blah, 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 blah. When we start warming up, no, we're not talking now. Like, it's kind of an unsaid rule. It's not just with Josh. It's just with other competitors as well, too. Right. It's just like, hey, man, we've been on the circuit for a long time. We've been competing since whatever. We're black belts now and stuff like that. We've known each other. We all know we have families. We all know, so forth and so on. We got kids and all that crap. We got businesses. We could talk all day long about that stuff afterwards. Right. But until we're done, we are not talking. We're done here and stuff like that. This conversation's over. Like, hit the pause button. But for me, I mean, that's honestly why I seclude myself from everyone. You see me run into Chicago Open up in the rafters and shit and stuff like that. And just kind of do it. You just kind of have to do it and stuff like that. But I get it.
I've very much learned that, Mark's competing today. I'm going to get no more than a head nod right now, and we'll talk later.
Pretty much. Yeah. We'll talk later. Wait till the damn headphones are off and stuff like that. But it's truly funny, like, especially this year with all the competing and traveling. You meet so many freaky people and stuff like that. It's like you're just going to run into them over and over and over again. It's just a matter of time. And the next thing you know, I'm going to end up playing a Zito talking about, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then my division gets called, and then I'm screwed.
Yeah, I don't know how he plays those head games since he's like just master of psychological combat.
Yeah, that's
lures these guys in. It's like just come here, talk to me, take pity on me.
No,
sweep.
I don't do that.
Yeah, that's funny.
I just like to talk to people.
No, you're a little social butterfly in that bullpen.
Yeah, in the bullpen. Yeah. What are you gonna do? That's the way it is. But because I just I'm 43 years old. What are we doing here?
I mean, we're simulating murder, sir.
It's true.
Hey, man, we ain't baking cakes. We ain't baking cakes.
Definitely not baking cakes.
Nah, man, we got to go out there and just mess some faces up and stuff. But
it's okay. I do my thing.
But now you're talking about changing your game. Are you going to change that aspect of the game too?
I have evaluated that as well. I think I'm going to go more towards the Vives route.
You got to practice.
Put my fucking headphones on and just warm the fuck.
You got to practice that in basically in the lab, so to speak, or like in the gym. You got to practice it there. Mm-hmm. Like that's the tricky part is actually trying to sit there and be like, okay, these are the people I'm going to try to roll with, and I'm going to try to murder you first, and then so forth and so on. I'm going to warm up, and then we're going to go at it. And you kind of have to tell them too. So I mean, people know on Saturdays at open mats when I'm there. And I'm like clearly not at a competition. Like I'll warm up a little bit, and then when I start calling people out, I'm like, okay, we're gonna go hard. Sometimes I'll tell them like, we're gonna go hard.
Right.
We're gonna start standing. This is gonna be a match. We're going this long. Let's go.
Right. And I imagine most of your guys are used to that by now.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Right.
Very, very much so and stuff like that. They know that if I on Saturdays that I go real hard towards like after a certain time. Like the first half hour I'll spend warming up, and I'm like, okay, you, me, let's go. And like when we'll just go hard for like an hour and a half.
Most of my regular training partners know when I'm in competition mode, whether I say anything or not. They just know based on the intensity.
Exactly.
Javi's in comp mode, just give them your best look.
Right.
Go.
Exactly. Just do your best. Don't stop fighting. Let's go.
And the kind of unwritten rule, which I guess is about to be the public unwritten rule, but of like, and I tell other guys this when they're working with our competitors. When I'm in comp mode, I get super stupid. Like I'm just like I'm go, don't lose. Like every match, every single point, I'm counting points. Sometimes even out loud, even though I shouldn't be talking mid rolls for reasons that I've revealed on the podcast. When I'm at that intensity level, I need my training partners to protect me from me, because like I don't want to do. I know psychologically that like, okay, it's just training. It doesn't matter. Don't try to do that last minute arm bar escape. This isn't the tournament. you know.
Yeah.
But I 100% need you to be looking out for me because I'm competing, and I'd rather you give up an arm bar that you didn't really need to get before comp,
Right.
than me go, okay, let's try this last minute escape, and I fucked that one up. Should have tapped.
Yeah, like I've seen individuals like that too and stuff like that where they get too engrossed in it and stuff, and it happens.
Yeah, it doesn't happen every roll, mind you.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes, I get lost in the heat of the moment and the intensity and whatnot, and my head goes straight competition mode, and I take risks I shouldn't.
Yeah, for me, there's nothing. I love training hard.
I do too.
really love training hard and being really super competitive and stuff like that. It's so much fun. I just can't do it a lot anymore. That's the thing. But I really love doing it. And everyone just like, sometimes I wish I could record all those rolls.
I mean, you can. We have the technology.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I wish I could. Let me rephrase that. I wish I had recorded all those rolls.
Right.
I think one of my favorite training partners of all time is Nick Sim. You've had him on the podcast and stuff like that. And like, I've known him since he was a kid. He was one of my younger brother's best friends and stuff like that. And there are days where he'll come into open mat or whatever, and the mat clears, and everyone just watches us tear each other apart. Like, just tear each other apart to the point that no one will get subbed.
Yeah. Mark and Nick are going to war.
No, we'll go to war, and it's like the matches end, like the rounds end, and like sometimes we don't even follow the timer. We'll just go. Let's go.
Let's go.
And it'll be like 20, 30 minutes later and stuff, and we'll both just be on the ground like, and we're like looking at each other like, okay. And then it was funny. And the thing is that like both of us were just kind of nuts and stuff like that, and we don't like to give up. And I'm very, very stubborn, and Nick knows that. Extremely stubborn when it comes to that. Nick knows that. So I will never say no. I will never stop. I will just keep coming and stuff. Like, you want to keep going? Let's keep going. Let's go. Right. And I'll get to the point that Nick knows that I'm not going to stop anymore, and then I'm getting angrier. And he'll sit there and he'll just be like, okay, I'm done. And he'll just go on the ground, and he'll literally, I immediately have like a sigh of relief on my face. Like,
thank God he's done.
Freaking God, he said he's done. Because my God, I'm like about an inch away. Like, I'm like this close to just having a heart attack. Like, I can't do this no more. Yeah. And then we'll literally just be like on the ground. Our chests are like just like our hearts are like, our lungs are just basically exploding and stuff. We're like, Jesus Christ, man.
I have that same mentality where it's like, I gotta, like, someone's gotta stop. Like, I gotta be like, okay, that's it, enough. Because I'm like stupid in the head. It's like my brain's like,
we do jujitsu. We're all stupid.
But my body can't keep up with my brain. It's like, no, you dummy, you can't keep doing this. You're just beating yourself down.
So I definitely push myself.
Yeah. But your body, I don't know how the fuck you do it, Hav. I honestly, I
don't have an answer.
I know. I just
have
think
an
that
answer.
you've been doing it for so fucking long that you can train 7 days a week as much as you, and your body doesn't break down as much. As like,
and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, there may be some kooky genetic quirk going on. It could be some facet of my super high protein diet that helps out.
Keto?
Not quite keto, but yeah, pretty much. But I've been doing this a long time. To be fair, I do kind of know how to pace myself. Like I roll every single day.
Yeah.
I train 7 days a week. You know, there's no days off at all for me. Okay. But I'm not doing murder, death, kill all 7 days.
Right.
And like, I certainly don't want anyone to be under the impression that I am. I mean, there's a world of difference between like my comp level rolls that I'm getting into the gym, super intense, you know, going 30.
How old are you, Javi?
I'm 41.
Oh, nice. So
we're
we're
all-
there you go.
all that age.
1, 2, 3. Look at that.
Yeah. All about the same. There you go.
But yeah, so, you know, I think a big part of it is just I know how to listen to my body and I know how to pace myself. And most of my stupidity is getting that one last roll in, or pushing myself, you know, hard enough that I know, oh, now I really have to take it off like the next day. But I'm not gonna take the day off. It's just like, it's like, okay.
I remember when we were training at 10 Planet, you'd be the last guy on the mat. Are you still like that at LCCT?
As much as I can be.
Yeah.
With the night job now, sometimes classes, I have to leave class or end class before I otherwise would because I have to get back to work. Yeah, no, I mean, like, it bothers me when I go on the mat, especially when it's a bunch of relative youngsters, okay, but I'll go on the mat and I'll get, I don't want to sit out rounds. Okay, the only way I'm sitting out rounds is if we've got an uneven number and I'm trying not to be greedy. Okay, especially if we've got other guys competing and I'm not. Okay, like I want guys that are competing to get the most rounds in, obviously. But yeah, like 10 Planet is a real common example where I go on the mat, I'm taking the first roll, I'm taking the second roll, I'm going to keep on rolling until they kick me off the mat, and I will pound the fucking mat to get people's attention if like somebody doesn't immediately approach me. I'm like, boom, 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 I'm over here, come on, bring it. And I'll do that at every gym that I'm at if it's rolling time and I'm not getting rolls in. Like no, I don't need breaks. I don't want rest rounds. I'm not taking a minute off. I'm not taking a round off.
Right.
Like give me a fresh body.
I noticed that if I take a round off, once I start
You just get
cooling
cold,
down,
right?
I'm done. I can't,
Really?
Yeah, I can't get back into it.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as I got to keep going, keep my body up. Keep
Not so bad for me, but I
that's
dislike
just
it.
how my body, like as soon as I take that 1 round off, 2 rounds off, that's it. I gotta go.
No, you
I'll
can't
just
take
hurt
more than
myself.
1 round off.
Yeah,
Like, that's just horrible and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I
But
got-
like honestly, I like for me, like you said, Javi, you have to listen to your body now and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'll take days off if I need to. Like today, I was gonna go train. I was just like, you know what, I'm really not feeling it today and stuff like that. Like especially when I sat there and I told everyone I wasn't gonna compete yesterday and ended up competing. I was just like, you know what, I need to rest, and literally just slept in, did whatever the hell I wanted to do and stuff like that. Watched a bunch of football,
Right.
And came on here. But yeah, I mean, if I don't feel like doing a round, I just don't do a round and stuff like that. However, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will do everything.
Yeah, you got to force yourself.
Yeah, it's not even forced. It's just like for me, that's it's like a different. I'm a different beast on Tuesday and Thursdays. It's just like I know that those are my long days, so I'll literally clock in, go to work, so to speak, and then just literally clock out when I'm done.
Right.
Like I won't even reach for a water bottle or anything like that. I just will from 5 to like 10 o'clock. I will not take a sip of water. I will not leave the mat. I will just be like, let's go. And I will push everybody to as much as I can.
It's funny. I picked that habit up in wrestling.
Yeah.
I didn't like drinking between rounds because we would push so hard. I would feel like I had to puke.
That's
even if I didn't puke, mind you, I would feel like I'd have to puke if I had water sloshing around in my belly.
That's why everyone always asks me like if I ever wrestled and stuff. So it was just like, no, I've never wrestled. I never wrestled at all. But apparently that's a
Super
trait.
common.
Yeah, super common in
Oh, is it
wrestling
really?
and stuff like that.
Never heard of that.
Oh, well, okay. Now, not that every wrestling room is run the same way or anything either, but yeah, like a lot of old school coaches also believe that like you don't get your water until the end of practice. You don't hydrate midway through. Whether that's a smart thing
exactly.
or
It's
not is
probably a
another
horrible
matter
thing to do, but yeah.
entirely. But my personal feelings was like if I'm getting up mid. Like it's different if I'm repping technique or drilling or something like that and just breaking a sweat from a warm up. That's different. But like if I get off the mat to go get a drink of water and then get back on and I feel it sloshing around in my belly a little bit, like that, yeah, it's just a terrible sensation for me.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, not always, but usually if I'm rolling hard, I won't take any time off to get water.
The only exception to that rule, and I absolutely needed to do it then and stuff because I was just like ready to drop and pass out. Anytime I go to Japan and train with the Souza brothers out there, their gym there, I swear, it's like I swear to God,
No AC?
No, well, I know they turn off the AC, they close all the windows and stuff.
Ooh.
And it's like,
So you're getting sauna effect.
yes, you're
or
getting the
steam
sauna
room
effect,
or whatever.
yeah, whatever it is, 100% humidity, and it's always around like the beginning of September and stuff. So it's like monsoon season, typhoon season and stuff. So 100% humidity, about high 80s or 90s, maybe in the hundreds and stuff, and it's horrible.
Right.
And you just get dizzy and they're like, drink water. And you're like, no, I don't want to drink water. And they're like, you need to drink water. Right. And it's funny because I actually put a post up on Instagram my last trip out there and stuff. I lost 9.5 pounds.
Wow.
In one training session there. And I was like laughing my ass off. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, this is stupid.
This was the most fun weight cut ever, but it was
I didn't
dumb.
even need to need, I basically trained so damn hard and much. I inadvertently cut down to the next weight class.
Jesus, yeah.
And I was like, this is stupid. Like, this is like retarded. And I was just like, I need to absolutely sit there and like freaking drink water right the hell now.
Right.
And I just like started chugging it and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay.
Do you take any like BCAAs or anything like that?
No, I don't. So supplement wise, I take a whole bunch of fish oil. multivitamin, daily multivitamin. What else is there? Freaking organ protection pills and stuff like basically just make sure everything's working for my kidneys and stuff like that.
Like a probiotic.
Not a probiotic. There's a probiotic in there and stuff. Okay. And then what else do I take? Yeah, that's basically the other stuff. A bunch of protein. Oh man, so I don't really eat. I eat one meal a day usually.
Okay.
Usually, I just don't have time for anything else. So I slam probably about 500 to 600 calories of protein in the morning just to shake. But I don't physically eat anything. I just have no time to do so. And then usually go lift. So let's talk about it like a normal Tuesday or Thursday. I'll usually go lift. And then after that, slam another protein shake, just, post-workout. Go train, do all my admin stuff, run a couple of errands, maybe go to a chiropractor or whatever like that, pick up my kids. Come back, teach, and then train basically from 6 to 10.
Right.
Like nonstop and everything like that. And then eat whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Like I will eat whatever the hell I want. And don't even put on a single pound and stuff like that.
Right, right.
Obviously, if I'm if it's a comp week or whatever the case may be, like I will eat definitely a lot cleaner if I'm prepping for competitions and stuff like that. But I will eat in terms of volume whatever I want, just like as much as I want rather.
Right.
So just like
Yeah.
that's a normal day for me.
I oftentimes will opt, more so now because my schedule is so screwy. I get off work 6 a.m. I sleep until LCCT. I go to lunch classes, and those start at noon. Sometimes I'll sleep in a little bit just to get that extra 15 minutes. But I get up in enough time to get to class. Obviously, I get there on time when it's my day to teach. But get up in enough time to do class, and then I'll come home and I'll make that decision somewhere in there because class usually runs till 2:30ish.
Right.
I'll make that decision like, do I want to have a meal because I'm gonna have to go take a nap, or maybe not feeling it, just gonna have like a protein shake or something like that. Something relatively light. So it's not uncommon for like my only real meals of the day to be breakfast at about 5 a.m. when I'm still at work, mind you, and then dinner when I come home, which usually means I'm eating somewhere around like, I don't know, 9:30 to 11 range, because a lot of times I'll bring my food to work and eat it there. But on Saturdays, just because Saturdays are so crazy busy for me typically, because I work Saturday morning 6 a.m. Like my breakfast is like tea with like half and half in it, and then I'll usually end up training until 4 o'clock in the afternoon or so, and then it's like, oh well, I didn't have lunch yet, let's go eat something, and that's going to end up being a huge meal because I'm starving from training, and it's like, oh well, it's now 10 o'clock at night. I haven't technically eaten in the last 5 hours or so, but I'm also still not hungry, so the hell with it. No more meals.
Yeah, you do that? No, I force feed my body sometimes.
If I'm feeling it, I'll be like, okay, I have to have something. Like I know I should have something here for fuel, for recovery and whatnot. But no, sometimes my wife and I will like go grab a nice late lunch, early dinner, and there will be no actual dinner after that point. So,
yeah. I mean, I don't.
You just eat whatever you want.
You just wait for Paul to make you an acai bowl.
Yeah, basically.
Damn it, man! Like, I obviously need to get this legendary Paul Maloney acai
you
bowl,
have to,
apparently.
Sure. Yes.
And B, didn't he promise us that he was going to release the recipe? He
gives us the whole recipe. I mean, doesn't give us.
I don't want to go jot it down from his episode. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Paul, write this shit down. Make an Instagram post.
He should. Yeah. I told him
take
he
a
should
picture
do
of the bowl.
A video of him like doing it.
Instructional
like
video.
You got like the Henry Gracie.
There we go. Yeah.
He should definitely.
You're right. The
Henry Gracie.
How long did you say it takes?
About 7-8 minutes.
So we can't call it like the Maloney minute or anything.
No. The Maloney 8.
That's good. I like it.
Anyway, so what else we got, Mark? Before we go do some.
Forgot we kind of took many tangents there. We took very, very big tangents there and just went all over the place and stuff like that. But I mean, man, I don't know. But at least for me and stuff like that, just finally get to have a vacation after competing so much and stuff like that. So
You have earned it, sir.
yeah, I know. But then it can't be a small vacation. I'm just pretty much going to take 2 weeks off and back end of November. Go to Manila and stuff.
Yeah.
Some, just relax and stuff. After that, basically have to already start prepping for the Euros. So I'm doing the Euros, flying out there basically the whole week, if I'm not mistaken. So the Euros are going to be 15th to the 20th. So I'm probably going to fly out probably the 15th or 16th, stay there until the 21st, which is that Monday, fly back, have 1 day to pack, wash all my stuff and pack, because then I'm leaving from Manila to do the Manila Open. Then probably sit there and hit the beach again, stuff like that, and do whatever I want to do. Come back, and then allegedly, and after talking with Seth after Fight to Win 87, Fight to Win 100 is going to be either Super Bowl week or the weekend after that. So
You'll be on that card. Hopefully.
hopefully, I mean, we
That'd be
kind of
cool.
like that's the plan right now and stuff like that. So
Fight to Win 100 sounds
Fight
like
to Win 100. It's going to be
sounds like it should be epic.
Yeah.
based on
It's-
just that big
based
number.
on what I'm hearing and stuff like that. Should be a really, really good time. So just hopefully I really get on that card, and hopefully there's a tentative matchup right now. Can't really talk too much about it right now, but until it kind of goes through. But if that happens, it'll be fun. Be a good one. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, all right, let's go do some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, man.
for sure.
All right, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at mvivesbjj. Facebook, obviously, at Mark Vives. Obviously, Newbreed Training Center.com. So www.newbreedtrainingcenter.com. Like to thank my sponsors real fast. Obviously, BJJ Tees. They've been supporting me from the get-go. Combat Corner, great stuff. 50 Barbell. If you want to be strong like a bull, go to 50 Barbell. Hit that guy up. He does my strength programming. He's awesome. Kicksite. So a new sponsor of mine. They basically handle all of my gym software, gym billing, check-in process, everything like that. Oh, which, by the way, if you're if you're a gym owner and stuff like that, you can pretty much use their video management system to pretty much create your own MG in action.
Oh, really?
Send it out. Yeah.
Get out.
So what I've been doing is I've been basically creating my own, recording a bunch of stuff and uploading it onto Kicksite. And eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start selling online memberships.
That's cool.
Cool.
So basically you don't even have to be a member of the gym. You can just sit there and just buy online memberships.
Right. Or like just a subscription based.
Pretty much.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I mean, so that way if I have college kids that, they were like, oh, we love training with you, but obviously I need to go back to
Right, it's cool.
wherever it is and stuff that I'm going to school. How can I continue my membership with you, or how can I continue learning and stuff, or just practicing at like my college club? There you go.
So will you have like a curriculum online, like training as you go through? Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, it's like, and I can, based on your belt level as well too, I can actually kind of dictate it. Like, so for example, Zito, since you're a white belt, no, but but obviously I can sit there and kind of designate this is what white belt techniques, blue belt techniques, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all done through Kicksite. So that's pretty damn cool.
Are you going to take this opportunity to buy the domain name MV in action?
I should, right? I should. Someone will. No, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, you got like 3 weeks.
No. Yeah, right. No, but honestly, like I bought a lot already, so don't worry. I think I'm good. Pretty sure I'm good. But so Kicksite, Zeidman Associates, they always help me out with everything like that, and Applied Strength and Conditioning out in Indiana, really good friend of mine, has always helped me out with like all my gym equipment and everything else, and of course Sam Spiegelman. So he like I'm like Humpty Dumpty. I get broken, he puts me together again. So I mean, I know there's a couple other guys I should be thanking out there, and I'm sure I missed them. I'll remember as soon as we're done. But thanks to all you guys, and thanks to all my friends, family, teammates and stuff. You guys, Grappler Union, for having me on.
Sure.
And
Glad to have you.
the rest of the Chicagoland community for always supporting me. Also, all the Filipinos that download this stuff, because I know there's going to be some of you.
There are. We get
I know, yeah, I
Philippines,
know,
yeah.
100%.
We have it on
Thanks,
the-
guys.
That's really cool.
Thanks, guys, for your support.
I always look.
man.
I always look
Yeah,
at
it's
because I
cool.
look at the the geographics
Wants
and
to
we're
know,
like
yeah.
all over. I'm like, are we in the Philippines? Yes, we are.
Yeah, I
Thank
know.
you.
It's cool. It's really cool. My brothers were one of the forerunners of jiu-jitsu in the Philippines and stuff. They, if I'm not mistaken, and there's an argument about it, but they either opened the first official or second official Brazilian jiu-jitsu school in the Philippines back in like the mid-90s. So the name still kind of carries a little bit of weight there, and I'm glad to do that name proud. So my eldest daughter, my 19-year-old, happy birthday, by the way. She literally turns 19 now. She's there right now and stuff. She's actually training.
Cool.
So she's training, and she messaged me. She's like, Dad, I want to do the Manila Open, then come back and then get ready for Pans and then go to college. And I'm like,
Priorities.
okay. No. Well, I told her to take a gap year. She had a lot going on and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah. So you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
So what is she? Is she a
She
blue belt?
she's a blue belt.
Blue belt.
Right now and stuff. So, and like, it's funny because she'll be talking to me like, yeah, this person knows you. This person came up to me and asked me if I was your daughter and all this stuff like that. I'm like, yeah. So what'd you say? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, yeah, you should. Give you any special treatment or anything like that? Because I'm like, whatever. So they wanted her to take a super fight out there. It's funny. They're doing a charity super fight, and they wanted her to take a super fight, right? Just so happens that one of the organizers he's one of my friends. And I kind of told him, I'm like, look, man, it's cool. It's ultimately her decision, but as her father, I kind of would like to be there for her first super fight.
Right.
So I'm just gonna lay that one out there. I'm just gonna put that one out there and stuff like that. So let's see what happens. But anyways, yeah, thanks again, guys. Really appreciate being here.
Awesome, man. All right, let's go do some jiu-jitsu, or do it on Javi anyway. All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Very Hard to Submit. Go to vhtsny.com and check out their kimonos, compression gear, and apparel. This is a brand we are excited to be supported by. Their gear is high quality with a clean design. Go to vhtsny.com and see for yourself. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. For more information about Grappler Union Podcast, you could visit us at our website at grapplerunion.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Grappler Union. Please like us on Facebook. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. And all of our episodes are available on our YouTube channel. Say what?
Be sure to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to all that shit. You got to do another take, right?
Oh.